Assemble the accused! Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor, Gary Beekler. Justice for Anas. Gary, how are you, sir, tonight? I think righteous and angry, probably.
Fucking pissed. I'm still pissed. I was pissed earlier this afternoon. It hasn't calmed down at all. And I thought I would soothe myself by going over my Star Trek Picard review one more time. And no, that made it worse. It actually made it worse.
Oh, yeah.
This is
doesn't help.
We're watching two major franchises fail concurrently, together, hand in hand, going down in flames.
Oh,
and, yeah. And I listen, I suffer from hypnosis. I do. You are free of that. And someday I may be, considering what's going on with Hollywood, but occasionally, you know what? It hits even me. And after watching Star Trek Picard 4 times now, it really exposes what it's done to this franchise, which is damn near as much damage as Doctor Who did to its franchise today. And this is a red letter day, folks, and not a good one for franchise destruction, because there is no turning back from both of these shows now. It's done.
It really is. I felt when I was watching this Doctor Who, I started tweeting out some things, as is my wont when I'm watching this show. I send out tweets, as my reaction to things. But I felt just so dead inside and so bereft of hope that I was beyond even anger. It was simple despair. And I am disgusted by what I just saw. And I'm sure we're going to go over it, but oh my God, it's just, it is a level of shark jumpery that it's just off the cliff. It's off the cliff. They're never coming back again. No more. Not unless they, I don't know. I think there's certain things. I mean, you can always retcon your way out of anything. A writer can come in and fix anything, have a cue, have a time anomaly, whatever. But it does so much damage to your soul as a fan that there's certain moments in these things that there's just no coming back from. It doesn't matter what they say or what they do. It's over. And several things this episode of Who were it for me. I mean, I just honestly just do not give a shit anymore.
No, and a lot of people don't. And there are people celebrating this, and all I can say is it's equivalent to walking out of the barber with your first mullet in the 80s and thinking, man, I am going to get laid tonight. This is it. This is like my signature look. It's a gimmick, folks. They're burning this shit up for a gimmick with no thought, and they're burning down legacies. And one of the main things that I'm trying to do, and I don't want to speak for you, but what you're trying to do is preserve this stuff for future fans so they can enjoy it. It doesn't take much to, you can still move things forward without crapping all over anything. It just takes a little time and talent. And that's what Hollywood is lacking. And I think part of the problem is the talent pool is so thinned out in Hollywood because there's so many TV shows being made now. We've got people working on shows that have no business working on this stuff. And despite what anybody says about Picard, you could be hopeful as you want, think that was a good episode, think it was a mediocre episode. This is Akiva Goldsman working on this. This is the guy who said F Batman. This is the guy who said had Robin stab a guy in the dick with a pair of scissors repeatedly. This is the guy who destroyed the Transformers franchise for China. Okay. That's bad. This is the guy who was associated with nipples on the batsuit, sonar in space, that you so wisely and acutely discovered. And this guy's a hack on the level as Alex Kurtzman. Now, in dramas and stuff, he's won Academy Awards, but I am also confident he is the person who wrote the line. I mean, because like when I sit down and have a conversation with somebody, you know what I like to open with? Have you ever been a stranger to yourself, Doomcock?
I know. I mean, isn't that something that everyone has had at some time in their life? Somebody sit down and ask them, have you ever been a stranger to yourself? And of course I responded many times. And then I blinked and I said, what the fuck do you mean?
Yep. Then I asked you about a normal looking necklace, like it's unique. That is a very unique necklace. That's not unique on your.
I know. It's almost like two pull tabs off an old a couple of cans of Mountain Dew that somehow Doug Henning put together in a magic act. It's just ridiculous. That shit is like it's a drunken 8 lying on its side. It's anything. It was dumb. It was not really dumb.
It's an infinity necklace, and all you have to do is Google it, and there's about 100,000 of them. But they're so unique.
I know. What I really like is how she was able to just la-di-da stroll up to Picard's house, and he's like not in the least disturbed. Hey, how's it going? Come on in.
Tweaker comes up to his house crying, talking about a dead boyfriend. I mean, who hasn't that happen to,
And he's like, I'm concerned. I'd better alert Starfleet.
What was she on? Was she on time crystal meth or dilithium crystal meth? That's the only question.
Well, I think time crystal meth because, how do you explain that Picard gets blown up by a phaser on a roof in San Francisco and winds up back on his couch in France and not in a hospital?
I've got in my video, I've got a slow shot of how far back he falls. It's 30 feet. It is 30 feet. He would be dead. My dear Grammy, bless her heart, fell one step and broke her hip.
Right
at that age.
So. My mother did as well, and not only is he going to fall, and he's going to have to use the clapper. He's going to have to make the call. This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I've fallen and I can't get up. I mean, that's what it would be. There's no way. And what? Yeah. And do you know why they didn't show him in the hospital?
Why?
Because they'd have had to show the hospital, and it's expensive.
Yeah,
so they just had him on the couch in France. Well, how the hell did he get there? Who took him there? Why didn't they take him to the hospital? He's completely unconscious. He should be monitored or okay or something. I mean, but no, he's just on his couch in France, surrounded by Romulans.
This is dystopian Trek, right? Doomcock.
Yes.
So they must be in a police state. So they must be tracking everybody. There was a murder in this girl's apartment. There are 4 dead bodies still rotting there. And Bird of Prey mentioned that. I mean, everybody caught that. And they would have heard about this, tracked her to Picard's house. But when the police returned him after this incident, they didn't see anybody. Can you just transport wherever the hell you want? They don't track the transporting. Do you have a transporter at your front door? You know what? If you want to move Star Trek forward, these are the kind of questions you need to ask. You need to be smart enough to take on the show because, dude, I am I'm a mid-level Star Trek fan. All right. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I cannot name episode titles off the top of my head. Right. I am no fucking expert. You are an expert. Bird of Prey 5, Annie Trekker, Robert Meyer Burnett, Mike from Red Letter Media. These are guys who can, just name shit off the top of your head. These are the people you need to keep in mind whenever you're writing an episode. This is not it's not like Star Wars. With Star Trek, you can't go lowest common denominator on Star Trek. That's not how you go about it. When I'm picking shit out, that's bad. That's very, very bad. So there's so much So I'm almost happy in a sense, although it's kind of a bummer with you know what it's like to watch Star Trek Discovery. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery is a whole level of bad that like I don't know if anybody can achieve anymore. Although
No,
Doctor Who is
man,
trying.
it is the Mount Olympus of suck. It's like you cannot get any higher than that in terms of suck. Like for instance, dude. So Romulus is destroyed in this Prime Trek timeline. Prime Trek. This is Prime Trek. This is the Kurtzman Abrams verse, right?
Yeah.
It is, because you've got Romulus destroyed. Well, so in the Kurtzman Abrams verse, we don't even need starships anymore. We can briefcase beam with a briefcase clear across the galaxy. So why are we building 10,000 ships in an armada to go and rescue the Romulans when we could just why don't we just make 10,000 briefcases and one ship and take all the briefcases over to Romulus and let them beam themselves wherever they want, willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And why is it our business anyway? It's supposed to be a Romulan empire, not a Romulan planet, not two planet. If it's just two planets that are being wiped out by this nova, then what the fuck is the reason for the neutral zone? What was this Romulus war? You're telling me that the combined strength of the Federation can't defeat two planets? Of course, it's a fucking empire. So they'd have their own ships and they'd have their own freighters and they'd be able to take care of their own problem. Why is it Starfleet? And they're acting like the Romulans are Vietnamese boat people or something.
They were more advanced.
They're savage backwater primitives that can't save themselves. You mean the same backwater primitives that pioneered the cloaking device? And
yeah,
come on,
this is an older civilization.
So but hell, if you want us to help them, send them some briefcases. You know, go to the Samsonite factory and make 10,000 transporter briefcases, voila. And then a big one and transport all of the transporter briefcases to Romulus with a big transporter briefcase. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. You're so idiotic. All of you idiots out there writing Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard are idiots. Sorry.
I like punctual supernovas too. I mean, you know, like it's good. We got 5 years and forget the bad science of that. And there are problems with time and distance.
Are you saying they had 5 years warning?
They had 5 years warning, and it was a year early. It blew up. So that
is the stupidest thing.
It's so fucking dumb.
It is the stupidest thing.
There's
if we had 5 years, if we even had a year warning in the United States that the United States was going to blow up with the tankers and freighters and stuff that we've got, we could evacuate the entire United States like in a concerted effort, like in a year and a half. With the ships we've got. So 900 million, that's all it is. That was the number of, not 900 billion, it's 900 million Romulans. That was it. That's all.
So we're the other 8 or 17 billion because there's 18 billion on Romulus.
Well,
according to Memory Alpha, which I looked up.
They don't read Memory Alpha though.
No.
This is 900 million Romulans had to be evacuated. 900 million. How many million people are just in the United States at this point? Like it used to be 390 million. Is it about like 500 million now?
No, it's still in the 300s. I think it's 360, 330.
Okay. But it's nowhere near
Starfleet is human privilege. Starfleet is human privilege. Well, Starfleet the Federation, the Federation, the organization of planets that's in this place called space. Has decided to be isolationist.
Right.
So I don't know how you could be an isolationist in an infinite void, but we found a way. Kurtzman found a way. Kurtzman, not we.
How can you be a racist isolationist when you're part of the Federation, which has 100 different alien races or more? 1,000? I don't know how many are in the Federation. I don't know that number, but it's a lot.
My tolerance only goes to 90 races of alien beings. When I get to 91, I am a racist.
Exactly. 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 They're the space minorities now. Well, build that wall in space. build the space wall and keep out those other, purpley pinkish aliens rather than the greenish, bluish, grayish, reddish that we've got. We don't want any more of your purple kind here, you scum. It's just so dumb. It's dumb. What the hell does that even mean, isolationist? It's just the most moronic thing. I can't even. I'm embarrassed.
It should be embarrassing, and it's an embarrassing day to be a Doctor Who fan and a Star Trek fan. It really is.
Well, it's not us. It's not us. I mean, it's a painful day, but I'm not embarrassed. I'm standing up. You're standing up. We have nothing to be embarrassed about, but I am pained and I am suffering. I mean, Jesus, when we get into the particulars of Who, it's it's so bad. It just, oh my God, it's so bad, dude. It just sapped the life right out of me.
I don't know how I know Chris Chibnall he's got a past in Doctor Who. He can't not know that William Hartnell's police box, that was the first police box.
Right.
Because the chameleon circuit got stuck. And we all know that. And he just never bothered changing it. He liked it after that. So before that, it looked like a TARDIS, which was like a slab doorway thing, depending on how it looks like. If you guys saw 50th anniversary or anything leading up to that, they have a horrible scene where Clara is the one who tells the Doctor to use the TARDIS and the Type 41 that he takes. It's really bad. So I don't know, honestly, how hell
it became the wokest of woke. There's no way to be woker than this was woke. This is the wokiest of the woke shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. They decided to literally double down. We have 2 female doctors here, and it overshadowed the return of Captain Jack Harkness, which should have been a moment to celebrate. But the fact that he came back to this, like, we've been wanting him to come back for 10 years, and yes, he's done Big Finish and everything, but I wanted him to meet Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. No, they just bring him back. He doesn't even interact with the Doctor, so it really felt shoehorned in. They do the whole Graham's the Doctor bullshit again. You could see what was going to happen. Within the first 30 seconds of the episode, I'm like, oh, fuck. Because I was thinking about the rumor. Oh, shush. My phone was talking to me. So I reported on this rumor. I've been sitting on it for months, and it's nothing. The only reason I ran with it, because I'm like, oh, they could totally do that. But I thought it was kind of for shits and giggles. I did it. I didn't think it would actually fucking happen. I was hoping against hope it would be wrong. But if you look at it logically, if you look what happened to, for example, Luke Skywalker, if I verbalized it today to my oldest son, who's only has a cursory knowledge of Star Wars. He knows the original trilogy. So I was trying to explain to him what happened with Luke Skywalker. So I just said, yeah, Luke Skywalker, the great, the Jedi that redeemed his father, defeated the Emperor, ends up going to an island after he tries to kill his nephew after a bad dream, and then he dies overdosing on the Force. And my son just like shook his head and goes, how does he overdose on his own biology? And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. God damn. This is why my son's smart and I'm not. So how do you overdose on your own blood? The midichlorian count. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That's fucking dumb. So that's what we're dealing with here. It's they have to try to insert their agenda no matter what the thought to canon. These people don't have time for it. They don't have time to watch a YouTube video.
They don't have time to just punch in whatever they're like doing and research it on the internet. I mean, it's that easy, they don't have even time to do that. They don't have enough, caring or respect for their own work, their own craftsmanship to know what the hell they're talking about. They just do not care. And they just figure, well, whatever I make it now, it is. Because whatever I say is canon is because I'm in power. Well, fuck you. Guess what? We will just stop watching. Good.
Yeah.
You failed.
You failed. And like Disney is realizing this right now. Star Wars has fallen off a cliff. And you can baby Yoda and Clone Wars all you want, but we are right back. Remember what Star Wars was right after Revenge of the Sith. We are there.
Yeah.
So it's fallen right back. And that's not a growing franchise. It's degrading. And it will degrade before your eyes, and it'll be a memory in 10 years. There will be no Star Wars to talk about, because what they have to do to change Star Wars is they might as well do something original at this point, because they have to build it from scratch. Baby Yoda's not gonna make a franchise that's worth billions of dollars. It might make them some good scratch, but it's not going to carry your franchise. You're cutesifying Star Wars. It's done. It's cooked. Your main characters are vandalized. So now you fully vandalized Doctor Who. No matter what they do here. Now there's an out. So there's 2 female doctors. We had an episode where the Jadoon come back. And it doesn't really matter why. They have a contract on a fugitive. This fugitive, it was rumored prior to the episode that this fugitive was a Time Lord. So everybody was going to assume it was either the Master or I didn't think Doctor right away, because if you think about it, if anybody out there watched Hellbent or Heaven Sent and Hellbent, the 2-parter where Peter Capaldi goes to Gallifrey, he's trapped in a compression dial for billions of years. He banishes Rassilon, Seal Rassilon, and basically the Time Lord Senate, the Council. He banishes the Council, so they're no longer on Gallifrey. So whatever Gallifrey was destroyed by the Master, there's a bunch of Time Lords that are still out there. So there could be an out. There could be an out. But this other Time Lord turned out to be the Doctor. They used a chameleon.
And I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know what was coming. All I knew was that Captain Jack was going to be back, and so that was bad enough. And then, to my horror, I mean, it was only late when it's actually revealed that I understand, oh, they really didn't go there. I mean, we had talked about rumors that they were going to go back to the origin of the Doctor and make the Doctor a woman the whole time, like the first time was a woman. But okay, but this was just the wokiest wokeness that ever could be. Look at that. That's beautiful.
So they tried to pretty much, again, they filled the season with David Tennant member berries and completely destroyed the canon. So this whole course correction was a big freaking bait and switch. We're going to be as woke as we were before. They literally doubled down with 2 female doctors, and I'm not happy about any of it. But the new female doctor, I thought she played the Doctor better than Jodie did.
That's not saying much, and I agree.
Not saying much.
I mean, she was basically doing an impression of River, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know, either that or Joanna Lumley on Absolutely Fabulous. Darling. I expected her to say darling at any time. And it's so awful. So awful. I couldn't bear it. It just was soul crushing at this point. It's like, well, this is a joke. I mean, this is not serious at all now. This has gotten to the point where it's a fucking self-parody. And nothing matters. I don't care about it. And in fact, I hate every single person on that show at this point. Yeah, all of them. I just can't stand the sight of any of them.
Oh, there's so much for a show that so much happened in. It was just people standing around or sitting around watching one person do something.
Yes.
I mean, that's all the companions who used to, basically have to do a lot of the Doctor's dirty work, would get in the worst kind of situations. They're just sitting around and watching Captain Jack mess around on a console, which I think was a stolen TARDIS. I don't know. I didn't catch what he said. And then the Doctor gaping at these other 2 female Gallifreyans. One was a Gallifreyan and one was a Time Lord.
Mhm.
And the Jadoon were hired to get, I don't know why the Jadoon were hired to get the fugitive. I don't know
They
what was
never said
behind
that.
it. No. So obviously it was a big setup episode. Jack doesn't interact with the doctor, but he says, beware of the lone Cyberman,
Right.
the epitome of toxic masculinity, I'm sure.
The
And
lone Cyberman. He'll have like a black mask and, high-o silver tin-plated robot horse away. I mean, it's the lone Cyberman.
it is. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, they're not really freaking going to do this. So the rumor is something like this. There's multiple sets, or there's regeneration cycles.
Mhm.
Okay. And you may or may not have multiple regeneration cycles, and you may or may not remember them all. Okay. And there might be a whole, we talked about this on the live stream. There might be a whole cycle where the doctor was female, which would be my guess. That would be my educated guess, that there is a whole cycle of female doctors, and that came first before William Hartnell. Now, again, they did allude that in Spyfall that there might be multiple universes. We might be dealing with multiple universes. And if that's the case, if that doesn't screw up canon, I can forgive that. But they're going to screw up canon, because it's not just enough to take something away. It's not because right now I think they've actually heard our argument and noticed that turning the doctor female was not just a superficial move. It was a sexist move. It was actually sexist, what you did, because you're saying a woman wasn't good enough to build a show from the ground up. So you needed one that was thoroughly established by a male. And not until the very end did you decide to make it female. And then you thought you would pat yourself on the back afterwards. I think even eventually you dimwits out there would come around going, oh, that actually doesn't move anything forward.
No, it
It
doesn't.
it makes us look petty, like we're just taking something away. Kind of like when, I'm sure every little brother has this story out there. My sister would want to play out of the nowhere, want to play with one of my toys. I'm like, what the hell? No, you can't play with one of my toys. And then she'd throw a fit, tell mom and dad, and mom and dad said she gets to play with the toy. And I go, and I lose that battle. Then my sister just tosses the toy away and just goes, I just wanted to see if they'll do it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened here.
Yeah,
So
no, that's an apt analogy, that these people are not thinking these things through, and they really are kind of like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, right? Some people just want to watch franchises burn. I think Kurtzman is willfully wanting to destroy Star Trek at this point. I think it might have started out he thought he had a better vision. Now I think it's just malicious. I think he just he knows his days are limited at CBS, and he wants to do as much damage as he can heading out the door.
yes, I think that's part of it. I think the other part is Kurtzman's a white guy, Chibnall's a white guy, and the only way these white guys feel like they can keep their job is to just go hard in the paint on the other side and just overdo it. I mean, it's try hard. It's so cringe. And Kurtzman, I think Kurtzman has a fetish. I think Kurtzman likes that. This is just my opinion, by the way. I think he likes to get beat up by women, because he really loves having young women beat the crap out of like 300-pound men or 250-pound men multiple times in his work. And it goes beyond Star Trek. It's something he's really into. So there might be a fetish going on there. I'm not sure. I mean, I enjoyed Buffy, but we all know that Joss Whedon had a bit of a fetish there, a foot fetish, and some other stuff we found out later on. So sometimes, life plays itself out in the narratives. I don't know. Again, that's just my opinion.
It's your speculation.
You're not speculation.
Yeah, you don't know for sure, but I think that is
judging.
Interesting. Oh no, not at all, not at all. But I think it's bizarre that Daj apparently is a human being with a positronic brain, but somehow a positronic brain allows you to jump for, 30 feet or 30 yards. I don't know how much it was vertically and horizontally. It was like the Hulk. And why is that having a positronic brain in a human body makes that human body superpowered?
I don't know. I also don't know why they had to back off like 1,000 yards for that shot. So she's like this big, so the effects could do it, and it looked terrible. I'm like, this show's expensive. We both know how much money they spent on this show. It's like, where did they spend the money?
You mean you think someone's pockets are getting lined? Perhaps.
Maybe.
I don't know. I have no information to that extent, but it is odd because it sure doesn't look like it's on the screen. It's a fucking vineyard. And it was so stunning and brave seeing all that amazing CGI in the Starfleet garage, like having things just kind of fade in. And, I mean, that was it. That's what we get for Worf, is a photograph of Worf. That was it. That's what Kurtzman was teasing. Well, you may see Worf coming up here. Yeah, in a picture.
Dude, he's...
And why is the picture in Starfleet storage? Why doesn't Picard have it like in his house?
Yeah, if he got two
it
paintings,
doesn't mean that much. And why would he have the picture of the girl from the back in his house and not the one with the girl with the face? Because he must have given them to them as a pair.
How many people has Picard lost that he cared about? I mean, I could understand Picard being broken up by failing with the Romulus thing, as dumb as that is. That's something like if he felt responsible for millions of lives dying or something like that, I could understand him being broken. This guy. You don't just become a captain of a starship by being, I don't know, by pining over Data for 2 decades. 2 decades.
Oh dear. I miss Mr. Data. Oh dear, my greatest failure. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. He's such a it's so phony, man. The whole thing, the whole backstory to Picard is a joke, a hideous joke. So you're telling me that Starfleet is going to build an armada of 10,000 ships to go help the Romulans. 10,000 ships. But then the synths have a rebellion and destroy on Mars all the 10,000 ships. And then Picard says, well, we've got to go ahead and build 10,000 more ships. And Starfleet says, dude, I mean, we're out. It's like, that's a lot of money, man. 10,000 more ships. So basically 20,000 ships. Are you crazy? He says, you're a bunch of fascists. I resign. I mean, how rational is that? How and you're telling me that Jean-Luc Picard is going to give up command of the Enterprise to go on Mars and point and hold his slide rule up and his protractor and say, yes, we've got to build this fleet, and stand there while they build it, instead of you give up the Enterprise. That's what they're saying. He gave up command of the Enterprise.
Yeah. How is Mars's atmosphere? Did they terraform Mars?
Well, the problem is that they took shortcuts establishing the atmosphere on Mars, and they got it over at Strickland Propane. Let me tell you what, that was the greatest sale I ever had. And I told those Martians, I told them, don't let any sparks go up there, because it could be bad. And dadgum, if they didn't go ahead and light up a Bic or have a little wiring up there, then threw out a spark, and then the whole dadgum thing went up in the flames. But I tell you what, it's a pretty blue flame, and
it's a blue flame,
and now it's the big blue planet, thanks to Strickland Propane.
Propane
accessories. Well, it's the stupidest damn thing.
Yeah. How? I mean, how?
What? Yeah. Why doesn't Earth's atmosphere just burn off and still burning today? That's what they said in the episode. It's still burning, even after that. It's still burning today. Well, I sold them a heck of a lot of propane, I'm telling you what. So, yeah.
I mean, that I think that was one of their legitimate worries when they were gonna set off the nuclear or the atomic bomb for the first
Yes.
time. They're like,
Yes.
this could set the atmosphere on fire. Do you think we should go ahead and do it? Yeah,
Yeah. Let's give it a shot.
let's give it a
Let's give
shot.
it a shot. We'll see what happens. A dab will do ya. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. And the
Mm.
CERN thing, or with this hadron collider and everything. I heard a great theory that time right now, it does seem like time is accelerating. That the years are flowing faster. And at first I just thought, well, as you get older, it kind of seems that way. But a lot of people are talking about it. There's this theory that the world actually did end in 2012 with the CERN Hadron Collider, and that there is right now a black hole that is devouring the Earth. But because of the time dilation effects, we just haven't well, like in the instant that before we're being destroyed, we're living out this time at an accelerated pace because of the intense gravity. But
Can I skip
we're
past
already
Star Trek
dead.
Discovery season 3?
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe we were just hoping that black hole just kind of feed it a little more. Feed me, Mandrake. Feed me. So that's just a little thought.
That's dark.
It is a dark thought.
Yeah. Maybe I can't remember his name now. God, who was the guy who was in Black Hole? I was gonna say
Maximilian Schell.
Maximilian Schell can save us.
Maybe so.
Or Slim Pickens robot.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. We got quite a crowd tonight. Doomcock.
Outstanding. What do we got?
We got over 3,000 people here right now.
Holy smokes. Welcome, friends.
Welcome. 647 likes. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like because you like it. We've already got some dislikes, but that's to be expected.
We've got to have some dislikes. It's all part of the show. But I got to say, what I really dislike is that these morons running the BBC right now and running particularly Doctor Who have decided in their infinite wisdom to go all in, not only making the first Doctor a whammon, but also a whammon of color. It's just like, could it be any more woke? I suspect that we saw her walk around, but I bet she's got a fake leg because I bet you she's also an amputee.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I guess she probably, if we'd watched long enough, we would have known that she suffers from Tourette's syndrome because she would have started dropping a few F-bombs and stuff. We just didn't see it. If we'd have had her on a little bit longer, we would have seen it. The only recommendation for this other Doctor is that she didn't seem to like Jodie Whittaker much either. So one of us.
Yeah, I actually quite like that part.
She didn't like her.
She didn't like her. And she was talking about her trousers not going all the way down. What's up with all the rainbows? I thought that was funny. What wasn't funny was the feeling I had after this show. And you know what? Listen, before the people come out here, I would have zero problems with the Doctor changing the pigmentation of their skin. No problem with that whatsoever. It's the female Doctor thing I have a problem with because it fundamentally changes the show. It just does. There's a ton of female characters from Doctor Who you can do a singular show on, which I would watch, give money to, support 1,000%. But changing the Doctor, it's what you talked about earlier. It just lessens the stakes and it breaks the spell. You buy into this stuff. It's happening to Marvel Comics. It's happening to absolutely everything right now.
It's the calculation of it. That's what I'm talking about. When I say that it's like piling on, it's just piling on and saying, what is the most woke thing that we could possibly do to retcon the entirety of Doctor Who? And of course, it's not enough that it's just simply not enough. Jodie Whittaker is not enough alone, being a white whammon. It's got to be a whammon of color on top of it. It's just like all in with wokeness, and they don't give a fuck what it does to continuity, to retconning the series. It just means all of the other male doctors of the past that we have actually known and loved were second hand. They were, second string. Originally it was the pure wonderfulness of a woman of color. That's once again putting down all the white males. It's a political quotient thing kind of thing.
I think it's a record. I think this is the most consecutive Doctor Who episodes we've had putting down white males.
Yes,
it's also
all of them.
What happened today is also proof that this wokeness doesn't sell very long. So they had to re-up the wokeness already.
Right.
Not halfway through the second season of Jodie Whittaker. Her thing had already become stale. And it's even stale to the showrunners. And you know what? Maybe this is what led to the drama behind the scenes, because there was definite drama behind the scenes.
Yes.
Don't know what it was, but maybe it was this. And yeah, they had to double down on the woke because it was just getting tired. It was getting old. So now we have to fire up the blue check marks again. So they'll come in and watch one episode and then they'll bail out again. They'll tweet about it and they'll go male tears. They'll be gone instantly. And in about, a couple of years when the Doctor changes out and they're like, when they want everybody back, oh, the Doctor's a man again. Come on back. Nobody will come back. It's done. It's coming up on its 60-year anniversary. And that's where it'll probably end. And there's no turning it around because the new generation you did get is gone. The normies are way gone on this show. I can't tell you how many people just tell me they don't care about Doctor Who anymore. Not even enough to hate it. They're just done. So this sparked everybody's interest, getting Captain Jack back and doing this. But that'll fade. It'll fade. And then we'll have another year of Jodie, 2 years, and then this franchise is just over. And right now I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, how do you turn around the damage in the souls of the fans? I mean, you can turn around a narrative, you can retcon this, you can bring in a whole new creative team and they can say it was all a dream, but we had to see it. We've had to see it. We've had to sit through this garbage, and it has just killed that spark of love that was in our hearts for the Doctor. It is just moving forward. We were not going to be able to unsee the garbage that we've seen. It's just like how Walking Dead basically cut its own throat when Negan came and caved in Glenn's skull with Lucille. And all the rest of them just had to sit there and take it. And then that whole season, Rick and everybody was groveling to Negan, and it just knocked the guts out of the show. It just stabbed the fans in the heart repeatedly. And then no matter where they went after that, and I have no idea whatever happened to Negan because I stopped watching, because at this point I just literally did not care anymore. It was such a violation of these characters that I knew as I knew them. It wasn't simply that, I watched Glenn die, or that, Rick was, constrained and couldn't strike against Negan. It was fundamentally that we had been with these characters for 4, 5, 6 years. Now, I can't remember which season he came in, but the thing is, we had seen them suffer, and we had seen them face death over and over and over and over again, to the point where death is not really something that these characters fear in the same way that we would, the viewers. They don't. They have been through it. Life is not so sweet anymore that they are going to grovel to this psycho, this maniac, and allow themselves to be chattel to this guy. They would rather die than have that happen, because they faced death many times. I never believed it. And that I felt like the showrunners at that point on Walking Dead violated their own canon, their own raison d'etre, as the French would say badly if they had bad French pronunciation. That was my problem with that. And we could never unsee that, and we could never see those characters the same again. And I think that's where we are with Doctor Who. I just think we cannot unsee what we've seen. We cannot, it's like the Barry Manilow song, Trying to Get the Feeling Again. Can't. It's gone.
Yeah. You embarrass us, and you embarrass us. You abuse the fans. The Doctor Who fans have been pretty foul of late, right up there with the Star Trek fans. It's hard for me to decide, but I ignore both of them equally. But I was watching Bulls Trek Twitter get lit up today, which was, I mean, he was laughing about it, but oh shit. Yeah, at this point, I'll chronicle your demise, and it will be pleasurable for me. This one, yeah, I'll be petty about this one. I will enjoy chronicling the demise because I haven't to this point. I've kind of hoped it would turn around. I thought,
really,
we could have a female doctor. They can do this. If they don't do any damage to the canon, she regenerates. We move on. I'll just try to ignore her in Big Finish and any anniversary episode, and we could just move on about our day. Because that's the good thing about Doctor Who is the show does change, and it can change. It's not going to do that now. I don't think it lasts much longer, because what they needed this. The BBC doesn't know how to handle a franchise. They had a franchise here that was as big as Star Trek and a second tier huge franchise, the oldest franchise, older than Star Trek, and they just didn't know what to do with it. It's because they're public broadcasting. They suck off the teat of the taxpayer,
right?
And they don't have to really work like a business. So they didn't understand that they had something they could merchandise the hell out of, and now they can't. They'll be lucky to sell a few action figures, and now it's affecting the older stuff. I get sent picture after picture after picture of even the classic stuff now on discount, on clearance, red tag. Wow. And I'll put them in my next video. Yeah, it's done. And honestly, I've noticed it too with the collectible stuff. Even with the older stuff, it's gotten cheaper now, which is great. But that means it's aging out. People do, and I keep an eye on the collectible market because that is a sure sign of health of your franchise. If I can go out and buy something cheap that shouldn't be, that means it's dead. That first Doctor right here, that was very hard to find. I got that cheap just the other day.
Really?
I've been looking for that, and I wasn't going to pay $1,000 for it or anything, but I got it for my price. That was recently. And that has everything to do with the show sucking. So people are dumping their stuff or they're boxing it up. They're embarrassed. And that's the thing is you can't embarrass, we older nerds remember the days where I never hit it much, but people used to hide their comics, used to hide their nerd flag. I understand that, but gone are those days. Now we have the jocks are the access media and other fans. They've turned into what they hate.
Yeah. Well, that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They now that it got cool, all of a sudden they're climbing on the bandwagon, or now they're scurrying off as the ship is going down like rats. Jar Jar Abrams is the master of that, by the way. He sinks franchises and swims to the next one. Star Wars is, like you said, moribund and on its last legs. And there's that rat. You can follow that little oil slick on the water as he's heading over to that Warner Brothers water tank in the distance. He's all ready to go. He's already lined up his next fruitful field of destruction.
And the thing is, that franchise never took off. So he's going to have to actually start and finish something, not come into an established thing. So okay, JJ fans, this is it. Put up or shut up. We'll find out if he's talented or not. And hey, if he brings the DCEU to prominence like the MCU of old, I'll admit it. I just don't. If anybody's willing to take bets on that, I am. That he just crashes and burns. And I'm so pissed that he might be taking on Justice League Dark, which is the worst movie for him, by the way. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite, it's my favorite team. And fuck. We're going to mix in super chats throughout. Okay. So we're not have a big super chat section. And we're going to Brian Lewandowski for $2. Remember when explosions killed people in Trek, Doomcock?
Yeah. Well, but here, I mean, I broke this down earlier, but in Conscience of the King, in season 1 of Star Trek, the original series, the Caridian players, Juliet, the daughter, tried to kill Kirk, assassinate Kirk with a phaser on overload. It was hidden in his cabin, and it was a Type 2 phaser, which is the pistol phaser. So it's a medium phaser. They had to dispose of it fast. There was like this little disposal chute or vault or something in the wall. And when it went off, it shook the ship. It shook the ship and threw them clear across the corridor into the other wall. So that's what a Type 2 pistol phaser could do in Kirk's day. So now we've got in the future, we've got a phaser rifle, wielded by a Romulan assassin, and that thing explodes, and it just tosses an old man 30 feet, and he doesn't even break a hit.
He's fine.
He's not burned. He's not singed.
And a 97-year-old man, right? Isn't Picard 97?
Yes.
And I listen, people live longer in the future. I get that part, but still, that would be the equivalent to a 79-year-old man who would die. That would kill him.
Yes.
It might kill us. I don't see how we would survive that. I mean, look, if he goes back and hits his head in the concrete, he's dead. He just got a little boo-boo. So for a minute, I thought, because I guess I forgot what I was watching. I'm like, oh, maybe this is all in his head. Maybe it's the Irumodic syndrome or something. And then I'm like, nah, it's Kurtzman. Never mind. Never mind, silly boy.
It's not going to be like that. And of course, Kurtzman is the genius that had Pike throw himself on an overloading phaser pistol. And he got a boo-boo on him's chest. Him's got a burnt chest. Remember that? Yep. The phaser going off, a phaser pistol going off that rocked the Enterprise, and it just gives him a boo-boo.
And there's so much going on. There's so much going on. So we've got the Romulan disaster, and the synths came in and blew everything up, and the Borg are probably out there, and then there's Romulans infiltrating government. Who knows? Oh, guess what? Section 31's behind all of it.
Oh my God!
I promise you, Section 31 is behind all of it, because everything Kurtzman has done has had Section 31 involved. So you could count on a small young girl beating the shit out of large men and Section 31 being involved in anything Star Trek by Kurtzman. I found the Countdown comics. I knew I had them. It took me a while to find them.
Oh, really?
But I found them. And in a future one, because I'll send you a digital copy, so you can, if you want to read them or not. I actually liked them at the time, but they don't follow the canon from their own comic books, which is funny as hell.
They can't even do that.
They can't even keep their own shit straight. Jen for $5 says, "Can you shout out Ichibaka's Indiegogo for his book? He's $909 away from his goal. He's got 16 days left." Of course, I could shout out Ichibaka. I love Ichibaka. Here we go. So here's Ichibaka's Indiegogo. Ichibaka runs the beautiful website Disney Star Wars is Dumb. And Disney Star Wars is dumb. I mean, it really is. So here's his book. He needs $2,000. He has 55% of his goal. If you would like to back Ichibaka and go check out his website, please do so. If my Modrotics could put this link in the description, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's got 16 days left. And hail Ichibaka. Well done, sir.
Yes.
We love your work. We're fans, and we've got to get you on someday. And here we go. Okay. Original Star Wars fan. Can't wait to watch Obi-Wan before they failed. Yeah. I know. That should be the biggest news. And that's nothing compared to what happened to Star Trek and Doctor Who.
It's bizarre. I mean, I'd heard rumblings of this the week before. People coming up to me and asking me, why, what do you think of Obi-Wan being canceled? What do you think of Obi-Wan being canceled? And I said, huh? Obi-Wan's not canceled. I haven't heard a credible shred of information that Obi-Wan is canceled. Somehow fans knew it. before we did, and then the news came out, and like, oh, son of a bitch, and we still don't
Yeah.
really know what happened.
No, we don't know. I know Geeky Candy, Candace was the first one to go out there and talk about it with Jeremy, and they got a lot of shit, as they usually do, and that's part of the game. I mean, it is. But then it turned out to be true. It's on quote unquote hold, but this was a sure thing, Doomcock. I mean, they had Deborah Chow attached to direct. They had the scripts were written. Kathleen Kennedy said they were done on August 23rd, and now something happened. I'm sure it had everything to do. They even mentioned it. Ewan McGregor goes, well, after the fall of Skywalker, we felt we had a little more time to write the scripts. In other words, after watching that giant crap fest, listen, don't get your hopes up, people. I think they listened to the Access Media, who have been running with this narrative that film was fan service. And I think they're going back to their the Last Jedi days. Don't think for 1 minute that they won't listen to the Access Media before they listen to the fans. That whole narrative that the Fall of Skywalker is fan service was that even the people talking about it knew it was bullshit. Yeah. But they were trying to shift. It's a power shift thing, and the Access Media was getting trounced by us. I mean, all of us, you in the chat, Doomcock, yours truly, Jeremy, Jeff, and Ethan, and all the people out there. We're getting way more traction than the Access Media. So remember, I'm sure you guys do. Remember what Captain Marvel did well, and remember how the Access Media reacted to that, like they won some kind of victory.
Right.
Because that's what they felt like. They felt because they got their asses beat so hard by The Last Jedi when Captain Marvel came out in success. That was a direct they saw that connected. And it's the information war here in entertainment journalism going on. So they're going to be looking for anything to hitch their wagon to again. So Obi-Wan in a course correction might not be a good thing at all if it happens. We don't know exactly what happened, but them delaying this is huge. I mean, it's stupid. I do not know how Kathleen Kennedy still has her job at this point.
I don't either, because I was saying, look, that's all they've got. All they've got is TV. That's all they've got now. And, The Mandalorian, I don't know how long it's going to take them to do another season, The Mandalorian. And in the meantime, what the hell is there to recommend Disney Plus? I can't imagine anything. I mean, it's old movies and shit like that. They may even have some new original series. I don't know. I don't subscribe to it. I don't know. But they needed product. They needed product in the pipeline. And for Kathleen Kennedy to step in and pull the plug where they had to tell the crew to go home, that means that they had hired people and they were working already. That is a massive forfeiture of momentum and reassertion of inertia that is costly and damaging to everyone. So it's not something that you can just do lightly. And the fact that she did this seems like corporate madness to me. I can't imagine that they're happy. Am I nuts?
No, you're not nuts at all. That I just visited the set of a TV show last weekend. I was grateful enough to be on the set of the Orville once again. I walked the 2-level set where they built the entire ship. They were actually filming scenes. And it did give me a little perspective on, like, you can't just turn a show around like that. It doesn't happen on a dime. They have to break all that down. They have to rent out studios. These are hundreds of people. It's tons of coordination for them to just shut that down. It's not that easy to get that going again.
No.
And these people, what are they supposed to wait till Obi-Wan or Kenobi comes back? No, they're going to get other jobs and they're going to be committed for a year or two. So they're going to have to hire all new people now. And yeah, so I could totally see this being completely canceled at this point.
Well, in practical terms, I mean, how long is it going to take them now to get the scripts written and to reassemble the cast? And then how long, projection wise, out are we from the debut of the Obi-Wan series? By the time, I mean, hell, they'll get Mandalorian season 2 out before
Oh
Obi-Wan
yeah.
comes out, I would imagine.
Well, unless the scripts have the same exact scenes than the previous scripts, they're going to have to build new sets. And that will take design and pre-production, and they were already well into pre-production. So once again, Kathleen Kennedy has something well into pre-production, and they have to shit can it. I don't know how she has a job at this point. It's not the female thing, because there's another woman in line to take her job. You
Right.
could just say we hired another woman. There's
Right.
something, there must be some poison pill in the contract with Lucasfilm that Lucas put in there. Remember, he gave her this job, and he didn't really tell Disney he gave her this job. If you read Bob Iger's book, that was kind of a surprise to them. And he said, there's Hollywood speaking. He's all, oh, I was totally happy with that decision.
Right.
Yeah. In other words, like, what the fuck are you doing? And it was kind of, that was George kind of screwing him a little bit. Thinking he was going to put, well, he got screwed in the end because she became a company woman, or I think she's out on her own. And I think maybe she is untouchable. Maybe she can't be fired.
Maybe, maybe all her years in Hollywood, along with her also extremely connected husband, right? Frank Marshall, right?
Yep.
Must know where every single body in Hollywood has been buried since the 70s. Maybe, it might be just an old-fashioned case of we've got all these skeletons in our closet. Do you want us to show them around? No, keep them in there. It might be something as simple as that. I don't know, but I do know that Kathleen Kennedy, I was talking about this last Friday. Kathleen Kennedy could not get through Rogue One, had to actually fire or at least lay off the director and bring in a new director and rewrite stuff. So we had an interruption in production, replacement of personnel and rewrites on Rogue One. The Force Awakens, same kind of deal. I understand that they basically had to do rewrites and reshoots on that because there were problems in the production as well. Solo infamously was a massive turn, on a dime and a complete reshoot, pretty much of damn near all of it, a replacement of personnel and so on. Last Jedi was the only one that they got perfectly right the first time, because it was sufficiently awful that Kathleen Kennedy did not feel the need to step in. But then Rusev Soywoker, well, we know all the rumors that seem less rumory these days, that massive reshoots, like up to 5-6 different versions of the movie. That's all on her watch. And now she's had to interrupt Obi-Wan in pre-production again. Why? What is her major malfunction?
Probably the most simple of shows. We saw how simple The Mandalorian was as far as story goes. I mean, it's pretty simple. Kenobi is babysitting, basically. So you have to do some very exciting babysitting, meaning, and we heard some of the plots that somebody's coming to kill Luke or something like that, and he has to protect him. Okay. How hard could that be? And I do believe it's going to be a thing. The 30-minute episodes is going to be a thing. I think that's the future of Disney streaming. I think
it's cheap.
It is. It's cheap, and they look at the average Disney fan's attention span, and they're like, yeah, 30 minutes is good. I was dumbfounded. It's a sure thing. This thing was the only content you had that anybody was looking forward to on the Star Wars side, and you blew that too. So again, Star Wars is dead. I'm sorry. EU fans and stuff, just dive into those books, enjoy them. That's your universe now. That's it. Whatever comes forward is just going to be gobbledygook and cutesy. Believe me, if Baby Yoda's a hit, we're going to get baby Darth Vader and baby this and baby that everywhere. God. Yeah, I'm going to probably learn to hate that. Although I think Baby Yoda is pretty cute,
but I mean,
that's
the thing. What are we at? Tiny Toons now?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, basically that's what we're Animaniacs rather than the actual Warner Brothers cartoons. It's Tiny Toons and now we're just going to have Baby Yoda be the cutesy little Disney fight. I mean, basically the only success that Disney is having with Star Wars is making it Disney-fied. You know, I mean, they were hell-bent on making Rey basically like a Disney princess of the Force, right? You know, I mean, she essentially was like that. The little kiss with Kylo Ren and all the romance shit. You know, you've got Baby Yoda as cuddly and kind of like the equivalent of an animated chipmunk, and even people who are smart, you know, even people with good taste, like my own wrench, Bionic Belly Button, loves Baby Yoda. Otherwise, eminently intelligent and sensible woman, but loves Baby Yoda. So, of course,
Okay.
someday I may run over Baby Yoda just for fun, but I digress. It's just like a strange hypnotic effect on otherwise pretty astute and discriminating viewers that they have snuck in this Baby Yoda as the salvation of the entire Star Wars franchise. Really? That's where we are. That's the thing that stood out. Not the Mandalorian himself, Baby Yoda. The lead character was not compelling enough to carry the show. They had to have the Muppet.
Yep. Yeah. No,
Well,
that's I brought that up, and that's the biggest problem with the show going out, is that's not going to carry it. It's great. It was the most talked about thing, but and that's what sucks. That's what drives entertainment now. Is what's going to get trending on Twitter. For one, sorry, apologies to anybody who likes to spend time on Twitter. It's not a growing platform. It's kind of a dead platform. It's where a lot of people go and interact, but as far as growth goes, it's kind of pathetic. And they've been trying to change that and monetize it, and they can't. Because it's turned into such a crap hole filled with, just what I see every day. Sorry, but that's what it is. And Just Beyond for $5 says, hello, I'd like to contact you about being on one of the Exozone. I have 3 to 5 mini topics. One covers what I heard and saw when I worked at a government lab. Best way to contact. Well, my best way is Gary@nerdrotic.com is my email, and your email is?
yes.
Doomcock. What's your email, Doomcock?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking. My email is dictorvandoomcock@gmail.com. DICKTOR vandoomcock@gmail.com. And Exozone, Gary.
Yes.
While we're mentioning it, Exozone is scheduled to return this Thursday, folks. This Thursday. And it is going to have kind of a new format, and we're going to have a couple of established authors in the UFO field as guests on our show. And it's going to be super cool. I hope that you guys will tune in Thursday afternoon, at 3:00 in the afternoon, Central Time.
Yes. And I will even risk putting it on the main channel for a little while. So
that's exactly it. I'm going to do it on the main channel, and then I'm going to, our plan is well, we'll get into it later.
Yeah, we'll move it to the other channels, but we'll do the main broadcast on the big channel.
Right. I think we're going to start doing that though, Gary. I mean, at least give it a shot here and see what happens. And I think we might make a splash, make a bid to take Exozone to the next level.
Definitely. It's coming back, folks. But that is the most requested thing. People, I get email after email. It's coming. We have both been very, very busy. I am still way behind, but I've been busting ass to get ahead so I can have the Exozone. And to do a little business here, apologies. YouTube has recently made a major, major, major change to the algorithm. And of course, it is adversely affecting all independent creators. It's not just me. It's everybody. This happens every time they change the algorithm. The algorithm has to relearn stuff. So it stops recommending videos because of this shift to people outside of the subs. So if you guys could like and share the videos in the future, that's very, very helpful while the algorithm is relearning stuff over the next couple weeks. It would help yours truly, and it would help Doomcock. It would help your favorite YouTuber, whoever they are out there. Just a little like and a share. It helps. It really does. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to say that the guests that we're going to have are scheduled to be, folks, Peter Robbins and Christopher O'Brien. And they are experts on UFOs, cattle mutilations, and abductions. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Can't wait. That's awesome.
It is going to be cool.
All right, couple more super chats. Casey Osowski
Yes.
for $20. Hail DC and Gary. Have you noticed of late, it's harder and harder for people to come together and talk about almost anything without a fight breaking out? A few bucks for my favorite voices of reason. Thank you. I appreciate that, Casey. And yeah, some people might not believe that, but I think we are. I think we're voices of reason.
I absolutely do. I think absolutely paragons of reason. We may use humor, and we may use kind of a heightened hyperbolic delivery to make our points. However, I think we both stand for rationality, analysis, and critical thinking at all times. And what we hope to achieve is a greater awareness of the importance of pop culture and the vital role that these stories, these modern myths, play in our lives and our civilization. They are not disposable, fucking Dixie cups to be, used once and then discarded. These are things that live on in our hearts and minds and have for decades. And with them destroying them, they are destroying literally big parts of our culture and our own memories, and they're trying to gaslight us into not believing our own memories, that, the Kling orcs invented cloaking technology, and, the first Doctor was a proud, stunning, and brave woman of color all along. All of these things, that's what they're trying to basically gaslight us, to replace our memories with their phony corporate products.
Yes, indeed. Just Beyond for $2 says nothing is dangerous info. Have a Discord. I had a Discord. I am shutting it down though, because I never go there. So email's best way. Do you have a Discord, right, Doomcock?
Yeah, it's only for my my Patreons.
It's only for Patreon. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm actually whittling down things so I can be a little more streamlined, because I'm a little overwhelmed.
Yes.
I did not expect neither of us expected our channels to blow up during the Star Wars season like they did, but they did, and I'm grateful for it. And I haven't slept very much.
Yeah, I see. You're kind of a little tired. I know we need to wrap this up a little. Not run forever, but still,
yeah.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Yeah. And I just got a little perspective the other day, just looking at, my channel subscribers now. I'm over 140,000 subscribers, and it's stunning. I am, I don't really have perspective, but I'm looking around and I'm realizing, Jesus, it's a big channel now. It really is. Not as big as yours, but it's pretty damn big.
No, it's big. Like once over 100,000. I don't know. It depends on the interaction and stuff. I try to keep my, I want to be proud of the accomplishment, and I am, but it's because of you guys. It really is. So, but then, there's channels with 1 million subs I've never heard of. So, you got to keep it in perspective, but no, it doesn't mean to minimize the accomplishment. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and I hope to continue it. That's why I care. And I totally did. I know there's YouTubers out there, and listen, this is not a judge. Any YouTuber could say whatever the hell they want. I'm not judging them. But when people ask me, well, should I quit my job? It depends on the situation. If you see your channel growing like ours were growing, yeah, I mean, and it depends on your job. If you have a one-of-a-kind job that you love, probably not. But like in my situation, I had a pretty quote unquote mundane job that I can get whenever I want. I don't want to say fortunate. I also worked very hard to get in that position to learn that trade to where I can get hired anywhere. But I decided to try it, like, because you don't know until you say, fuck it. And from the risky business, sometimes you got to say, fuck it, make your move. And I did it. And so it's fun. Will it last forever? Who knows? One day at a time. But thank you everybody for all the new subscribers. And I'm close to John Campia. That's pretty cool.
That is.
That's cool. That's cool. And we'll see what happens. It's been weird the last week or so, though. The last week it's been weird. Something's going
weird
on.
Shit is going on for me as well. It's been odd and disconcerting. And I'm having to, like you are, like kind of reassess things and look at priorities and kind of figure out the best way forward at this juncture.
Yep.
It's odd.
It is. And if it wasn't for like the Doctor Who stuff blowing up today, I would have had my Star Trek Picard like official review out. But the Doctor Who stuff blew up today. And that had to be addressed, especially when I really didn't think the rumor would be right. I hope it. I mean, I guess no matter what happens, it was kind of right. Whether it's from another dimension or if it's the actual first female Doctor, and they really do that to canon, which would suck. I hope I'm wrong.
I'm just sick and tired of all their shots against men. I mean, they've really gone full bore loathing of men. They really do, other than the neutered companions, which are, all tacitly beneath the Doctor. So, I mean, you can have, two guys there and they're always, like just kind of sitting around and not doing anything while she runs around with her goggles and her, fucking soldering iron, making complex shit out of cereal box tops and bleach, ordinary household bleach. It's degrading. I mean, it's degrading to men, whether they're villains like the Master or the men of the past, because now really they weren't original. They took the job from its rightful owner, the first woman. You know what I mean? And fundamentally the Force is female, and so is the Doctor, and so is everything good and wonderful in the world. It's like men are the problem, men are the imperialists, men have screwed things up. And I think if that rumor is true, and I understand that they may change it or something, but I got that rumor straight from somebody in the know that said that Jodie Whittaker in some future episode is going to appear with David Tennant and berate him and all of her past male incarnations for their shortcomings.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
And maybe they'll do it through Captain Jack. When I saw Captain Jack, I thought of that rumor. I'm like, oh no.
Well, what was it with Captain Jack? That was so awful. They made him just like Jodie Whittaker, just nonstop yammering, yammer, natter, grin, pose, point, natter, a hug, kiss, natter. That's Captain Jack right there. I mean, it was such a shallow, just hyperactive, spastic version of Jack Harkness. I was insulted. I was aghast. It was just so pointless.
It was. And considering, the last time we saw him, which was Torchwood season 4, the Showtime, was it Showtime? It was Showtime, the Co-American production. He was in a dark place and he just pops back all, hi. It's like, you could tell it was just a cameo. I wanted it to be something a little deeper than that. And it wasn't. It was just a cameo to deliver a message to the most importantest Doctor of ever, Jodie. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's 5 episodes left, man. That's all I mean,
It feels
thankfully,
like
yeah,
forever.
it does.
Honestly, I didn't even want to watch this one, but then I heard a lot of, kerfuffle over the grapevine, and I saw that, I'd heard you were upset, and I'm like, well, all right, I guess I better watch this damn thing. And it was
No,
even worse than I had imagined.
I thought I was gonna skip this week on
Yeah.
a video, and I thought, I would still cover it live and everything, but I was just like, I won't do a video. I'm free to work on Picard and stuff. And it's just like, oh no, they really are dying together. And it sucks. It just I mean, what happened on Doctor Who was much worse to me than what happened on Picard, but then
Yeah.
you could see them setting shit up. Like this was the tame episode, everybody. This is the one that focused on Picard. That's why so many people liked it, because it was Picard centric. The crew isn't in yet. They haven't left Earth. They're still going to go on their action packed mission full of explosions, because this character study that we're supposed to get that was based on Logan is going to turn into a giant explosion fest, by the way. That's just my guess, just having watched Kurtzman Trek over the last, we're 3 years in to Kurtzman Trek, 3 years into this project, and it still feels like they're trying to build something. Like
I don't know. I don't. It's like they actually think that their shit is good or something.
It's a con job. Well,
It
you know
is.
what? I'll be honest with you. There was a guy I met. He was an editor. I won't name him. He was a really nice guy. And I met him on the set there, but his observation as a person who works professionally in Hollywood is that CBS has been successful with Star Trek.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's what they think. And I'm not going to sit there and argue with the guy. I just met him. He was nice. It's like he can think what he wants. And hey, he works there. Maybe he knows more than me. But on the fan side, it's not. On the fan side, it's not satisfying. And if it was just me, I'd always question it. But there's a lot of people out there whose taste I trust implicitly who don't like this show. So that reinforces what I already know. I mean, if I don't like something, I don't like something, whether it's popular or not. But I'm not, just because I don't like something, I'm not going to say it's not popular just because I don't like it. I'm maybe I'm wrong all the time, but a lot of very knowledgeable Star Trek fans hate Star Trek Discovery. I think like The Mandalorian. I think there were Star Wars fans who liked The Mandalorian just because their expectations had been lowered so far.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think the same thing is going on here. Like, it wasn't as bad as Star Trek Discovery, so they're ready to just grab onto it and go, thank God we got something good.
Well,
that can't last.
The only thing I would say is that, in my opinion, Star Trek Picard is as bad as Star Trek Discovery. The only difference is it's a lot slower, and so it has less pound for pound stupidity than Star Trek Discovery. In other words, Star Trek Discovery is hyperactive, just like Doctor Who, where, they just throw a bunch of shit at you, and they go do this, and then they go do this, and they go do this, and they go do this. And as a result, it has a very high yield of suck. Like, you have to pause Star Trek Discovery every 30 to 45 seconds to document something objectionable, stupid, obnoxious, or destructive to Star Trek canon. But Picard, like the man, moves much slower. And so there's not as much stuff to comment on. But what is there is every bit as stupid as what is in Star Trek Discovery. Like this idea that you can clone data, from a positron.
Yeah.
From a positron, you can clone Data's entire neural network from a positron. Just like in the same way that, hey, if anything ever happens to your computer, Gary, we could take a byte out of it and clone your hard drive again. So don't worry.
Fractal nerdrotic cloning. I like that. Yeah. I like that they neurotic. I'm sorry,
Neur
and
neuronic, right?
moronic.
Right. Well, they don't have
Distracto
neurons.
moronic cloning.
It's positrons. They don't have neurons, so that was a misnomer. So I guess Bruce Maddox doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Just like, well, your scientists on Star Trek are only as smart as the writers writing them, and in this case, all the
Yeah.
scientists on Star Trek Picard are idiots.
Okay, what's the rumor? The only the rumor. Scott Pilgrim, drummer, the one he was talking to, Bruce Maddox's assistant who was there that Picard was talking. Her name was
Right.
Jarrett. What's the rumor? I said that Jarrett was born a man. Did I hear that right?
Right. Like that's gonna make any difference at all to anything.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Yeah, I heard that. I don't understand it. I don't see why it's important. I'm not interested, unless there's going to be like, the bridge is going to be on fire on the SS Picard, the freighter ship that he's chartered. And it's going to be on fire. The console is, and she's going to stand up and say, "Oh, damn, I used to be a man. I could have pissed on this and put it out. But as it is, eek." Is that what it's going to be?
It may be. So Allison Pill is 34 years old. That's the actress who plays that. I was just weird about the time about this because the same amount of time has passed in the Star Trek universe that has passed for us. So the Romulan disaster was 10 years prior. We're 10 years in since 2009, or a little.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
If it's in real time. Yeah.
So she was 24 back then when that happened. How long has she been working with them? And how old is Bruce? Because he'd be older, a lot older now, because that was from season 2, right? From Star Trek.
Yes, Measure of a Man. Yes.
88. That's 1988, right?
Yeah.
Premiered in 87, so 88. So that's 2008. That's like almost 30 years.
Original series, wasn't Picard 60 something or?
Yeah, he would. No, because he's supposed. I went back and checked. He's supposedly 97 in the series, in his 90s.
And in the original series, was he like 67 or something like that?
Yeah, he was supposed to be older than he actually was in real life.
So I think Bruce Maddox in the original series, he was probably, in Next Generation, he was maybe, I don't know, 35. He looked like maybe
so
something
he'd only
like
be like
that.
60 now or something.
Yeah, he'd be like 60 something.
Well, he could survive an explosion. Totally.
Yeah, poor Picard. Yeah, well, he's an old man, and his bones were probably like hollow like a bird's. I'm surprised he didn't take flight. Well, he kind of did. It was a short flight.
I don't understand how they could ban synthetics when there's like been robots freaking everywhere in Star Trek forever. So did they ban all robots? But then, that was a hologram. Yeah,
exactly. That was a hologram. I was like, wait a minute, but no.
Yeah. In the quantum archives.
Yes. Oh, the quantum archives. Right.
Quantum. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, does it say dead Star Trek storage on my garage, motherfucker? Does it say dead Star Trek storage on my garage? There he is. He's in the dead Star Trek storage. Oh, look at that. Look at that picture of Mr. Worf.
It looked just like
spoiler. From what I've heard, Dr. Crusher dies off screen.
What?
This season, yes.
But Picard's not broken up about that, but he's broken up about Data.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Couldn't give two shits about Crusher.
Nah.
Why couldn't Wesley die off screen?
Well, hopefully, knock wood. It's just awful. It's going to be awful.
Java Bean for Australian $7.99. Hope you have the fires gone out in Australia. Is that thing getting better? Is that situation
better, but better? It's not out, but it's a lot better from what I understand.
That's good. Hope you guys are doing.
They got some rain, and it's been better.
We love you, Aussies.
Yes, absolutely.
Been a Doctor Who fan since 1980. I've met Doctors 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12. That is brilliant. Oh, you met John Pertwee. I am jealous. I cannot watch this show now. Thank you both for reassuring me that I am not insane. Java, you are not insane. My God, that's how I came to YouTube. I actually thought I was going insane after, watching The Force Awakens, and I started coming, and I wanted to find out what was going on with comics. And yes, it was nice to know I wasn't insane either. I either found a lot of other people who were insane with me, or I'm not insane. Either way, I'm okay with, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know how I found YouTube. I mean, you know, I don't even remember. Just started watching it.
Nerdrotic Jr. was looking at my original channel, which is Gary Beekler. It's still out there. And my very first video I posted was of little baby Logan. And he was looking at that the other day, and he was looking at my old film projects. He's like, "You sure you want to keep that stuff up there, Dad?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. The internet's forever. I don't care." My shitty student film, I had to write. There was a 48-hour project we had to do, so we had to write, shoot, direct, edit everything in 48 hours. So I did one. It's quite awful, but I'm proud of it. It came out the same day as Avatar, so it wasn't as much of a hit, though, to be honest with you.
Doctor Who as much of a miss either, though.
No, it's true. It's true. I didn't have any blue aliens sticking their tail in the back of creatures and having sex with them while they're flying or something. That's weird.
Well, you know.
The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, who's always got the most amazing super chats for $2, says Becky Lynch is the man. Becky Lynch is the man.
Becky Lynch.
Okay. Nicholas Horton for £5. Hail Gary and Doomcock. What was the better Lady Doctor wanted for? The Chibnall mystery box? Yes, it's Chibnall mystery box. That is well said. Yes, that's what it's there for. The unreliable narrator.
Mm-hmm.
I am so over the unreliable narrator. I used to love it in storytelling. Now I want it to go away for at least like a decade. I would love some just traditional storytelling, the good kind,
right?
Yeah, where good stories are told
with real characters facing real problems and interesting resolutions that harmonically resonate with the character and the theme, so that the whole thing is an integrated whole and a artistic statement. I miss those.
Beautifully said. So in preparation for my review, there's a couple of there's a lot of Star Trek episodes I haven't seen in decades. So I hadn't seen Offspring since like 2005, I think. That was the last
one
time
of the
I saw
best
that.
ever.
God
one
damn.
of the best ever.
You watch that and you see what's missing. It's just heart. It's that simple. It's missing heart. It's got Lionel Lockridge in it from Santa Barbara. I can't remember the actor's name. I just know him as Lionel Lockridge, who was the Admiral. And remember when characters used to like turn around and like see the light, and instead of fighting them or they're just white male bad, like the person would change his mind through the course of the story.
Yes.
I long for those days.
I know it was brilliant when he comes out and he's shaken describing Data trying to save her, and he's obviously stricken and obviously, I think, repentant. I mean, he doesn't say it, but you can see it in his eyes. Brilliant piece of acting, brilliant script.
Yeah, and the guy played a great a-hole in Santa Barbara. It was one of my favorite soap operas, by the way.
I never watched it.
I watched it when I was a kid. I smoked bowls and watched soap operas in MTV. Michael Maloney. And the one good thing that's come out of it is I went back and revisited a bunch of old episodes, and then you get reminded of how bad it really is when it's contrasted and when it's compared to the TNG. It's that deliberate pacing and that quaint storytelling, far superior. That's why it lasted for so long. Michael Maloney for $10. Hail, I tried to watch The Last Doctor Who and the Tesla thing. I couldn't do more than get 15 minutes into it. It wasn't even bad. It was like eating paste, totally bland and pointless. Yeah. That episode was like looking at a beige or choosing between what color beiges to paint your wall. But this one was a whole different set of circumstances. The White Wolf
was awful. Yeah.
The White Wolf is here. Toss a coin to your Witcher for £2. Hail the masters of the fandom universe. And he gives us a little cool emoji. Thank you, the White Wolf.
Thank you, the White Wolf.
The Witcher soundtrack is now available. So that song that's been stuck in everybody's head for a month now, you can maybe get that earworm out. I won't sing it so it doesn't go in your head. Horribly, by the way. At least we still have Red Dwarf, says Rock Flanagan, for $2.
Yeah, Red Dwarf is awesome.
Yep.
A hell of a good show. Fun show. That's another thing that's just lacking from all of these shows. All of them. Fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the original Star Wars was fun. That is not fun anymore. Hell, even a lot of the superhero movies these days, even the Marvel movies I like, there's some of them that are, very serious and kind of light on fun. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, was every bit as fun as anything I've ever seen in a theater. I absolutely adored the original Guardians of the Galaxy. But, you've got things like there wasn't a shred of fun in the Disney sequel trilogy. Honestly, it's just, it had no spark of inspiration. It was dead on arrival, honestly. Rogue One is a pretty darn good Star Wars movie, but it's not much fun either.
No,
it had some good dramatic scenes, but it was a fairly grim movie. Solo had zero fun, zero fun, zero drama, zero anything. It was, like you said, beige on beige. It was terrible. God, it was bad. Where's the fun? Where's the fun in Doctor Who? Where's there any rhythm? Jodie Whittaker says every fucking line exactly the same. Exactly the same, with the same kind of breathless, open-mouthed, spastic hyperactivity. Where is the Doctor's remove? Where is the Doctor's curiosity? Everything's a fucking threat. Everything. Shit that she shouldn't even care about because she's, thousands of years old, like she talks about. Oh, Edison is going to steal Tesla's patents. We've got to do something about it. Jesus Christ, really? Well, what happened in regular history? Why are you leaving giant alien skeletons in the street so that history will be changed? The whole thing is not only brain dead, but it's not even fun brain dead. It's just, it's not fun brain dead like Jackass. Jackass was endlessly fun. It was dumb, but it was fun, and at least fun can cover up a lot of sins, and no sins are being covered up here.
Oh my God, like Beer Fest. I freaking love that movie. I don't drink beer, and I love that movie. It's dumb and it's funny as hell. And Doctor Who was the most fun show out there for a while. And when we were mired in nihilism in comic books in the mid 2000s, and when Doctor Who showed up here in America and started popping up on Netflix, it was a breath of fresh air. And it was that show for a while. And that's why it became a show for everyone, because it at its heart, it was fun, thrilling. It was for everyone. It would still have some scares, but it was enough. And there was enough stakes. It took itself seriously enough to where you actually felt like the Daleks were a threat and the Cybermen. And when they would have an epic ending at, the end of season 2, we're talking 2005 series, end of season 2, 3, and 4 all had epic endings. Matt Smith, probably one of the best debut episodes. That was fun, and it just lost that because in their own arrogance, and that's when entertainment took a turn for the worse, because that's when they decided they wanted to be influencers and not entertainers. And that's the biggest difference now, is Hollywood and the BBC want to be influencers, not entertainers. And they will influence themselves right out of entertaining anybody. And because, you already see it. People are watching less TV, and they're finding other ways. And the great Douglas Adams, I brought this up before, predicted this would happen. He said entertainment would get more interactive, just like it used to be. It always was. It was all about the stage, and you were right there with the audience. It was the 20th century that disconnected the entertainer from the audience. And now we are seeing this reconnection through technology, and that they're not going to be able to compete with that. And that what does that the best? Live streaming, but better than that, it's video games. Video games, you're with a friend and you're playing a game. The movies will not be able to compete with that.
No.
And we're already starting to see that. So, and I say that, and I'm not even a gamer, but I know that's where it's headed. That's the future of
That's
of entertainment.
interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, as a fan of cinema and narrative, I don't mind, just being alone and watching entertainment, but the trend is definitely out there that shows like the Inquisition and like our live streams that we do are very popular. And it's because we're instantly accessible in a way. Even radio is not. In a radio show with callers, well, you just get a handful of callers, but really there's a good chance of everyone getting recognized and getting their voice heard and having us interact with them in a way that is really unique to this medium.
Yeah.
There isn't anything like it.
No, Art Bell used to have millions of people listening to him every night. I mean, an entire generation, including myself, grew up with that guy. And I don't know if he even knew how influential he was, because everybody knows who he is. And honestly, with the live streaming and stuff, you guys see the current count's 3,400 right now. That's the people consistently watching. But the count is much higher than that. It's actually much, much higher than that. And you see it if you keep up the live stream up, you see the actual number, and it goes up to like 20, 30, sometimes 40,000, depending. Our Game of Thrones live streams, we have one that was 400,000. So yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
They all should have subscribed. What the hell was wrong with them? I
know. I tried.
They shall pay once I take over the world, but never mind.
They will. George Orwell for $10. I'm sorry, George, you were right. Hashtag George was right.
Yes.
Friends, as a non-Doctor Who watcher, could you explain the major break in canon in a way I can understand? Yeah. George, I'm sure you're aware of, what's the best way to put it? Because it's hard to find, there's no comparison. It would be like
there are boys and there are girls, and the Doctor was always a boy. He had this thing called a penis, and now they're saying, nah, he was a she all along. So basically, Chibnall has taken the song Lola by the Kinks and I think applied it to Doctor Who.
Well said.
That's about as simple as I can.
People no, and the clap back that we get is, well, they put it in canon. I'm like, well, anybody can. So you can make it where Scarlet Witch comes into meets Spider-Man. We'll say it's a Marvel Team Up Volume 17, Issue 1, Spider-Man and Scarlet Witch, and she just decides to make Spider-Man a girl, like right there. And then all of a sudden it's canon, and he's always been a girl, and he was actually parented by lesbian Aunt May and lesbian Gwen Stacy. I don't know, and that's there. You just made it canon. That's what they did, essentially.
That's basically it, in a nutshell.
And in this episode, they not only made Spider-Man a girl, they made Reed Richards a girl too. And because he was one of the first in the Marvel universe, and that's what they did. But it's canon. It's canon. And your ratings are going down, and your ratings will continue to go down. They might get a blip from this one because we just did Splash. Comics did this all the time. When things started fading a little bit, they would kill a character or gender swap a character. Then CNN would talk about it. A bunch of speculators would come, buy a bunch of comics, and in 6 months it was dead. That's what they're doing right now.
Pretty much. And the Jack thing was horrible. I don't know why he would come back for that.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was really awful. He almost, I don't know, the smile like plastered on his face. To me, I don't know, it looked kind of weird and desperate. And I know in the scene, I mean, it's supposed to be an intense scene. I don't know. He's doing something that nobody understands and nobody cares about, and throwing switches and ranting and running around and waving his hands. But the sweat on his brow looked to me like flop sweat. That when I was looking at him like grinning and sweating, I was like, this poor guy is embarrassed. That's how it felt to me. I don't know. He may not have known what he was signing up for when he took the job.
It's and maybe he's for this. I don't know, but it just so many fans were waiting for him to come back. I know you understand this. For those of you who are out there, he is an immensely popular character, and people wanted him back forever. And to have him come back in this way was so effing cheap. It was so cheap. And some people, Hypnosis, they're buying it hook, line, and singer. And I was happy for a second when I saw him. I'm like, when I heard the voice, I'm like, I know that voice. Holy shit. No way. And he had been rumored to come back forever. And they do this. And it was trolling. That's all it was trolling. They trolled the audience, man.
They did. And it's like, it really is. And it's hurtful. It's hurtful because, a lot of fans have been hungering and longing for his return, like you said. But I'll never forget the Thomas Covenant Chronicles. I don't know if you ever read those books. It was in the White Gold Wielder, the first book of the second trilogy of Thomas Covenant, where he asked the question at the beginning, how do you hurt a man who has lost everything? Give him something broken. And that is essentially what they just did, is that the fans were so hungry for Jack Harkness. Fans were so hungry for more Star Wars. Fans were so hungry for more Picard, and they get this fucking thing and it's broken, and they can't admit, because of their loss and their pain, they can't admit their bitter disappointment, not even to themselves. That is, I believe, what Hypnosis is. Yep. That essentially it is an unwillingness to be exposed enough and honest enough with your own self to face that you have looked forward to something for 9 months or 2 years or however long it was with The Force Awakens, right? And also the same thing with The Phantom Menace. When that first came out, fans were so hyped to see the new Star Wars that it took them years for them to finally admit that, yeah, I didn't much like The Phantom Menace. Same thing with Picard here, same thing with The Force Awakens. People have a trouble facing reality. I think that's what it is.
Yep.
It hurts. It hurts.
It does. You know what? Being hurt sucks. Admitting it sucks, especially when it's just something related to entertainment, a TV show. And I think to some, maybe it's still, and this is okay if you feel this way. I'm not trying to put anybody down. That you just don't want to admit that, like, I'm really bothered my TV show sucked, and people are going, what? Hey, if people don't understand that, they don't understand nerds. That's it. It can bother you. Man, just look at our reaction for Game of Thrones season 8, episode 3.
That was the worst, man. I was livid. I was so livid. I couldn't fucking believe it. It was just supposed to be a cakewalk. It was just supposed to be a phoned in review praising this thing that, it was maybe not going to be so great. We knew that. But we didn't think it was going to be that bad, that horrible. And then the very ending, Jesus Christ, all the rumors were true. How many times have the rumors proven true?
Yeah.
Rumors that we report on, rumors we hear, rumors we find. How many times have they been proven true? Mostly in my experience.
I have watched a lot of people eat a lot of effing crow over the last couple of months. And, I don't normally enjoy it. I'm not that kind of person, but when it comes to what you were reporting, it was a little enjoyable watching them eat crow. And then watching Screen Rant come out and diss essentially Geeks and Gamers for reporting on Kenobi, and then they had to turn around and go, oh yeah, Kenobi's put on hold. That was hilarious. I love that one. And Candace, if you're out there, you are you never needed to be redeemed, but you got him on that one. So you have been vindicated.
Yes, indeed.
Rosetta Allen for $2. I sent you a DM. I know when I should be in Cali. Okay, cool. if we're close, and of course, Rosetta, it's depending, Cali's a big state. So if you're in SoCal, I'll be there in a couple of weeks to go check on Mom Roddick to see if everything is okay. So far, everything is okay. Not great though. Larry for $2. It's a trap. It's a gimmick. Doctor Who and Star Trek are gone. They are.
Yep, they really are. It's just awful. I mean, until I don't know. I don't know if the fandom is dead. I mean, it will never come back the way it was. Never. Now, individually, they may have entire different, reboots and changes of personnel and start telling stories again. But a lot of people aren't going to come back, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to forget the horrors that they've seen. I have lost all of my goodwill for modern Doctor Who. I'm just, after Tennant leaves, that's it. For me, when he transformed, personally, I know a lot of people like Matt Smith, and that's fine. But honestly, that was the last one I really, really bought into the Doctor. And since then, I just, to varying degrees, haven't. Well, we've got all the old ones on, BritBox. That's really all I need.
Yeah. I bought physical copies of them just in case they start editing them. Starry-Eyed Girl informed me today that they're going to do a panel on the Talons of Wang Chang and the racism of that episode. So it's basically going to be trotting out the creatives and making them apologize for an hour or something like that. So that's why you want to buy physical media, because they're going to start editing that stuff out, probably editing what they perceive as the sexism. I mean,
for God's sake. See, that I say that all the time, dude. I say that all the time. Gather ye physical media while ye may.
So this,
damn it, I don't have any of them. I don't have any old Doctor Who on DVD.
I have them digital. I can give them to you. I mean, unless I have them all on DVD now. The closet that you guys never see, which is right there, it's covered up with a vintage Star Wars. That's my last Star Wars thing. That is filled with Doctor Who.
No
DVDs.
kidding. Wow. So you got them all?
Yep. Well, all that are. I mean, there's episodes out there that don't exist anymore. I don't have.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean everything that's available.
Yep, everything that's available.
Wow, I'm impressed. That's a hell of a collection.
Yeah, I had to get it's all region 2, so I had to get a region free Blu-ray player, which was like $100 at Amazon. It's not bad. And yeah, I can watch, and believe me, I watch them. It especially after today, I watched some classic Doctor Who. Hell yeah, to cleanse the palate. Eric K, local homeboy here from right around Santa Cruz, a lost boy. We'll call you a lost boy. $1.99. Greetings and salutations, Doomcock and Gary. Greetings.
Hail.
If you're ever in Santa Cruz, you can go to the comic store that was in Lost Boys. So, yeah. Mark C for $2. Didn't Picard's vineyard burn to the ground? I honestly don't remember.
I don't recall that. I'd like to know what happened to his brother and his nephew and his brother's wife. I mean, they were in family. They were, tending the vineyard and everything. So why the hell is he there? What happened to Robert, his brother, and Samantha Egger was his wife, wasn't she? And the young Timmy who was dreaming about the stars. What happened to any of them?
Where are
they? They don't matter.
No,
they don't matter. It was just one of the greatest episodes of The Next Generation of all time, Family, which was a straightforward drama. Just no space menace, none of that crap. It was all Picard and his brother and dealing with the after effects of the Borg. One of the finest hours of Star Trek, when Picard is crying in the mud after his brother, and he had a fight where his brother provoked him. It was maybe the finest acting that I've seen Patrick Stewart do. But no, Patrick Stewart's got to fucking be Mr. Action Hero and fly through the air.
What's he
and it's
doing?
Just ruining his legacy.
I mean, he's going back. I mean, there's symbolism that if you don't catch it in the first episode, because I didn't catch it, but the symbolism of Dodge leading him around, grabbing his hand and leading him around. And yes, he's an elderly man, and it makes you realize what you're watching. I'm watching something with a 79-year-old lead. So this is a show that, I mean, don't get too invested in it. It's going to be around for a couple years. That's it. The 2-3 seasons. The only way they're going to get 3 seasons, by the way, is that they film back to back, by the way. And I'm sure they're waiting and seeing. I have no doubt that this is doing well for CBS. They'll probably, we'll see if they come out with any numbers or anything, but I have no doubt, because of hypnosis, that this is probably doing pretty well. We'll see by the end of the series, though, because that's the big thing. I heard that the first 3 episodes are pretty slow on this, and we'll find out. We'll find out. But if they did this much damage, and there's so much overt symbolism that this is the patriarchy being let out the door with respect, this time we're going to respect the the disillusion of the patriarchy as symbolized by Captain or Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. And I predict, I mean, I'm sure you did too, like he's going to die by the end of the series. So we're going to see him die at some point, maybe in the middle of the series. Who knows? Maybe by the end of this season. Who knows?
Maybe in episode 3.
But this is Logan. It's a rip off of Logan. That isn't Data's daughter. That's his clone, and it's a super clone. So it's going to be a hybrid of freaking Borg or something like that. That's probably why they explain her jumping 50 feet in the air. Who knows? She's a superhero, and because superheroes are so hot right now, that's the only reason they put it in there. And then, of course, we have the fantasy element. We have Romulegalos. What the hell is that? Why does he keep pulling his sword? Doomcock.
He's Lemolas. He's Lemolas. That's who he is. That's what he does. I've actually I'm going to have an interview with Lemolas coming up in a week or so.
I look forward to it.
It's going to be it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Oh God.
It's awful. He's an arboreal Romulan. He lives in the trees. He lives in the trees, but
he's an elf.
He's an elf. He is.
They put freaking elves in Star Trek.
Indeed. They put elves right out of the Lord of the Rings. They've taken it. Well, hey, look, they took the Klingorks from Lord of the Rings in Star Trek Discovery, and they've carried on the proud tradition with bringing in a elf as well from Lord of the Rings. I think next, finally, if they have a season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, Mikey Spock is going to go from just being wooden to basically getting in a transporter accident and becoming a straight out Ent.
I was going to say, she could be Treebeard.
Yeah, Treebeard the Ent.
Yes, and then the Ferengi can be the hobbits. Except they would keep the ring. But Jesus Christ, dude. I don't understand it.
I don't either. They are creatively bankrupt, and they have no aesthetic foundation to what they do. There is no sense of a guiding artistic principle in their work. All that they are wanting to do is commerce and propaganda. And the propaganda isn't even the sincere propaganda of a Marxist standing on the street corner waving his pamphlets and yelling about capitalism. It's the phony wokeness of the chronically desperate to stay relevant in Hollywood. That's all it is. It is simply self-interest, and they don't give a damn about actual enlightenment or actually, if they did, like if Lindelof actually gave a damn about the Tulsa massacre, he wouldn't have slandered it and belittled it and turned it into a joke by having it be a plot point where fucking racist cops are using subliminal programming to create that riot. So they're basically saying that all those people that actually historically died, they've turned it into a little plot point for their fucking science fiction ripoff of Alan Moore's work.
Yep.
Now that is there anything more insulting than
Nope.
that?
Other than liking it and then trying to defend it.
Saying that
it educates people. I'm like, how does that educate? It raises awareness. No. How many people are going to actually go to Wikipedia and 1,000? No, people probably watch that and think that's the history now. Who knows? I doubt it did any of that. But it was so successful, Doomcock. It didn't get a second season. It was a mic drop after that. Shit.
Yeah. They literally turned, they basically had Dr. Manhattan turned it into a character in Blueface.
Yeah.
It was basically Blueface. I mean, they completely and then that ending with her like taking the egg. What the hell is that? What in God's name is that, dude? That this egg is in the fridge that contains now all of the sum of Dr. Manhattan's power. And they had it that he had put it in there before all this shit went down. So he didn't have any power at the end there. Didn't he do some shit?
He did some stuff.
He did some shit.
He actually, he took Ozymandias and Silk Spectre and Looking Glass, and he transported them to the Arctic. So he still had power using blood. Yeah. And nothing made sense at the end there because it didn't need to. It was just there for what you said for product. It was partisan political product placement. That's what it was. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5. Gentlemen, the only hope we have is that greatness fills the void eventually. It does. But it might not come from where they expect. Their expectations may be subverted. Especially if what if the streaming wars like just end up being a failure for everybody? What if none of it takes off? What if it gets so diluted that like Netflix ends up winning because they were already big to begin with, and Amazon, and everybody just spent a bunch of money on nothing because the public said, fuck enough, man. I don't need 18 streaming services.
No, man. I think that's likely. I think that's likely. And Netflix has good shows like The Witcher.
Yep.
Amazon has some extremely good shows on their original programming. Hulu gets some good shows, and they're going to have the Orville. I think that a lot of these things are going to be like little, what do you call them? Sparklers, the like Disney and, Warner Bros. All these, they'll have like little brief sparkler fireworks that burn down and extinguish in minutes, relatively speaking. And then it's be like, well, we've still got Netflix and we've still got Amazon and we still got Hulu, and that's it. That's it. Who in God's name is going to pay for CBS All Access with this crap? And I just can't wait. I can't wait till the show goes on. It's going to get much, much worse. It's going to get much, much worse. That's what I hear. Oh yeah, same here. That we saw the good one. Again, the Picard centric one, and all we can say is pray for the Orville to come out soon. Hopefully. And I hope that they will do season 4. I mean, there's all sorts of concern on the part of fans about Seth MacFarlane getting his head turned with all this money from NBC and only focusing on NBC shows. So fans are a little worried, and I haven't heard anything one way or the other. And but I'm vaguely concerned. I hope that he has enough love and interest in the Orville that he's not at all going to let it go away. But I'm worried. As with any show, it depends on the success of its latest season. So I would imagine it depends on the success of season 3. And how well it's received, and how much people talk about it. And are they going to release it weekly? Yes.
They are
Good.
going to release it
Well,
weekly.
see, then that's going to do it. That's going to do it because we on the Inquisition and independently. So each episode is going to get 3 reviews from us.
Yep.
Everyone. It will get my review, it'll get your review, and then it'll get our joint review on the Inquisition that week. Right? So I mean, how many reviews is that going to be? 30 from us?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be well received, and it's going to get whatever audiences get on Hulu. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it is behind a paywall, so it's going to get the kind of ratings that a successful Hulu series gets.
And it's not for lack of trying. They are absolutely trying with this season. They
I'm sure
are
it's going to be
all in.
Oh yeah.
One. So,
but it's just a hard. I think we will help. I think we will help spread awareness and probably get them a number of subs. I'm certainly excited to help them out because they're a great show. But I mean, I hope that their metric for success is reasonable. If it is, they're going to make it. I have no doubt that it's going to be critically very well received, and I imagine Hulu will probably get some kind of uptick in their subscriptions. I hope that'll be enough.
What's going on in Hollywood right now, you'll never see this again. It's like a free agent signing frenzy. The amount of money that Seth got, no human being would turn that down.
No.
Like there's stuff I can't say, but there's definite hope. They love the Orville. They love the fans. They love the Orville. The people working on that show love that show.
Yeah,
but
I like
Hollywood is in flux right now. Not just Disney and Hulu and all that. Like everybody is, and they're a little worried. And because once you get steady work in Hollywood, which is very difficult. Once you get into the system, though, you can get steady work, and that's going to change now. Production's going to start spreading out to different places, and Silicon Valley now is going to have as much say as the old school Hollywood executive will be going by the wayside over the next 10 years, like broadcast television. Like that is dinosaur. That is gone. You're just watching it die over time. And we'll see. We'll see what it turns into, because I don't know if, again, it could change completely, and something else becomes top tier entertainment. Because right now we're seeing the transition of film used to be considered the top, and it still is. Like that's the top. You want to be a movie star. You want to write for movies. Because you're freer. There's more money involved. You have more time to make your art. But that's shifting to television.
Yes.
That's why you're seeing like Scorsese do a Netflix movie, and you're seeing bigger stars go to television series. So, yeah.
No, that's true. My friend Chris Brady sent me a direct message on Twitter saying, as per the last, our Inquisition discussion, Picard's brother and his family died in the movie Star Trek Generations. We were talking about what happened to, and the reason that I forgot that is because I never really watched Generations. I refused to watch them kill Captain Kirk. I just absolutely refused to do it. It doesn't exist in my dojo. I never paid any attention to it. Now I knew that vaguely, but it's not real to me because I really didn't watch Generations. I watched. Remember Picard was all brokenhearted about he got the news. They died off screen. He just got a letter. It was like, I mean, it was subtle. It was kind of a throwaway, like Generations itself. Not a good movie.
Last time I saw Generations was 1994 when it came out.
Yeah.
So, that went down the memory hole. I just remember Captain Kirk dying stupid.
Yes.
Constantly. It was fun. No, it wasn't. Star Trek inspired decades of scientists, engineers, doctors, etc. And now they're serving up this garbage. What a waste. Yeah, this isn't going to inspire anybody, Fizenthorpe. And Alex Kurtzman knows this. Doomcock hit the nail on the head with this guy. And Heather Caden, who doesn't get mentioned enough, and everybody else involved, Akiva Goldsman, formerly Michael Chabon. These are basic, generic Hawaii Five-0, CSI, CW TV producers. Akiva Goldsman's written some scripts, some film scripts, more bad than good. And these are people attempting to stay relevant. You want to talk about inclusivity. These people have been around for decades now. They've been churning out garbage. It's time for them to give their seat up to somebody who deserves it. Who, I don't care who they sleep with, what they got between their legs. As long as you know about Star Trek, you would be welcome in there for a breath of fresh air, because this isn't a breath of fresh air. What they've done is they've fooled the management at CBS. And I hope some of you are watching. We want your product to not be a product, for one, but if you're going to look at it that way, here are the people right here you should be listening to. The people in the chat, Doomcock. They'll help you make more money with your product by not treating it like that and understanding it. And if you actually care about this once $1 billion franchise that you're turning into $1 million franchise, you need to study it. You need to study fandom. It does take a lot of work, but the payoff will be brilliant. And the biggest problem is in this rush to stay relevant, Alex Kurtzman isn't pulling off Star Trek, and he's going off to produce another show, and he already produces multiple shows. I mean, like, Star Trek should be the only show you produce.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's enough. And he wants to start a cinematic universe, and that's the challenge I put out on my live review. It's like, oh, if this is so goddamn healthy, make a Star Trek Discovery movie right now. Put it in the theaters with this crew. And no gimmicks, no Pike, no Spock, with Saru, Michael Burnham, Tilly. Make a movie and see how well it does. And then you'll see how healthy your franchise is.
Right. I mean, you really shouldn't try to make a cinematic universe if you can't even make one decent show. You know?
Yep.
That you can't make a decent show, you probably shouldn't be branching out into a fucking universe, pal.
Why does Picard exist? Because Star Trek Discovery was successful? That's what they tried to push, by the way. They were so emboldened by the success of Star Trek Discovery that we went ahead with Picard. Really? If it was successful, why would you need to spend more money? They're not. I know you bankers aren't really into spending more money and and for one, you had to make this in LA, which it makes it cost twice as much. Picard gets to Patrick Stewart gets to make a bunch of creative decisions, including his dog, and it just reeks of that. What he said in that one interview, the last video I did, he said something that was shocking to me. It was his decision not to have the other crew members initially. He didn't want them. He came out and said it. What a dick move.
Wow.
What a total dick move.
Wow. He said that?
Yes. I initially didn't want it because he didn't want to. It was about fan service. I didn't want fan service, which is bullshit. That's a narrative I think they've taken from the Fall of Skywalker debate. But he said initially he didn't want, unless it was important to the story. I didn't watch The Next Generation just for Picard. I watched it for Geordi, for Worf. Actually, he wasn't my favorite character in the show. Data was my favorite character in the show. So, that was disappointing to hear. But I was listening to Midnight's Edge, and Mr. H Review said it. He actually said it best. It feels like a vanity project.
Mm-hmm.
And when I, compared that with what he said in that interview, and that's what it is. It's supposed to be this character study, and I think he's more sacrificing his character on that altar of agenda.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good call.
Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99 says, "Hail, my lords. Have you both received my tithes and gifts of the fruits of my labor? Haha. I hope you guys got a kick out of them. Love you long time." I got to get to my PO box. I haven't been there since I come back.
Who was this? Dreary
Nitpicker.
Yeah. I have not been to my post office box for maybe I guess I went a week ago, so I have it waiting. So I will make the trek to the Earth's surface and go pick up some stuff.
I will as well as soon as I can.
I'm so sorry, Drew Nitpicker.
Yeah,
thank you.
Me too, and thank you for sending it. Thank you to everybody who sends us stuff. I've been solo dad this week, so it's
solo dad.
Yeah, I'll admit it. When I've been married a long time, I've known Melissa a long time. When she's gone, I feel like I'm missing like a limb. It's bad. Yeah. Cornelius Anderson for $5. The CW is doing a modern day Walker Texas Ranger. Why must they kill the things we love? Why that? Okay. And it's going to be a girl, right? I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, it'll be, maybe it'll be, well, who knows? Maybe a toxic male will get a hold of it and twist their twist. Like, they'll make Walker Texas Ranger a woman, but then like Doomcock will come and produce the next season and it'll be Streetwalker Texas Ranger.
And it'll be that.
It'll be in Dallas and she'll be undercover as a hoe and lots of stockings and high heels and you're under arrest sugar Walker. And stuff like that. Yeah. What do you think? I like that. Streetwalker Texas Ranger.
I think you just pitched a show for that's some Cinemax right there.
There. I am available to write it and direct it as well.
Yep.
Especially the nude scenes.
Well, that'd be good. Well, yeah.
It'd be very good.
Yes. That'd be very good. I trust you on that one, sir. Billy the Mac for Canadian $5. Why didn't they transport everyone from the planet without ships via teleporters? The technology was available in Kirk's time. The convenient transporter. I mean, this goes back to you could probably point that out in a lot of situations, but that fight at the end, Doomcock, where they must have connected it to the cloaking device they were talking about, but they were transporting the fighters away. She kicked one over the railing and he transported away. So they can do it. And how are they transporting? I mean, how are Romulans just willy-nilly going down to Starfleet? Because that fight was at Starfleet, right? That was at the archives. And where's the security? And Picard said he was being tracked. Like top level people know where he is at all times because he's got security codes and he's got information and somebody could kidnap him and do all kinds of damage to Starfleet. So I mean, we could ask
this a tracker in my depends.
Yes.
In my depends. Isn't that right, number one?
My number two.
My number twos are tracked. My every number two is tracked and analyzed.
Why is Picard broken? Why does every character we love have to be broken? I asked this. I mean, it's rhetorical. I know.
Well, I think the Romulans are all over the place because of the Romulan diaspora. You know what I mean? Like just all the Romulan refugees. And I don't think, Picard is running a Romulan plantation, jump down, turn around, pick a bale of Picard, jump down, turn around, pick a bale a day. It's not like that. It's more, I think that they are grateful to him for trying. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. That's all.
Annie Trekker brought that up. The look of that. It's questionable. You could look at it that way. But I think honestly, that's how the elites in Hollywood see us. I talked about it in my last live stream 2 episodes ago on Orphan 55. Ryan in the Doctor Who. I'm shifting back to Doctor Who real quick here. Ryan, played by Tolson Cole. He's a person of color. He was in this episode and he was sucking his thumb with another character who was a person of color, and they were both sitting down like in the corner sucking their thumbs. And I cut this out of my video, but I said in my video at the time that picture, that's exactly how the BBC sees them. That's how they see us. That's how they see the world, as a bunch of little children sucking our thumbs. And we all need to be taught and guided by the BBC because they They make fictional television. They pretend. So because people pretend for a living, they obviously know more than we do, and they are in a position to tell us what to do with our lives.
Yes, well, they're very wise. They're very wise, and they're giving us what's good for us as a public service. And the fact that we resist having this kind of propaganda shoved down our throats means, well, we're the ones that need it the most. We're part of the problem. We're toxic as the toxic Avengers toilet bowl 6 months before he cleans it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Kurtzman really looks like the kind of person who looks down. He just thinks he's a very important man.
Yeah. What a sniveling little creep.
I create make-believe for a living, so therefore I am important. I should make decisions in people's lives. I don't even create it well.
The look on your face when you said that was just perfect. It was like that. That's exactly what that little son of a bitch does. It's like he says that, and you think he's addressing kindergartners, and the camera pans over, and it's 40-year-old screenwriters all gathered. They're taking notes.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is.
Yes,
you think it's in a school. It's like you see like the chalkboard.
They're all at the desks
they're all at their desk, crowded and hunched over, like, tell us more. We want to succeed too. Yeah.
Oh, hey, we got more Triple X. I'm glad that hey, if you want me to sponsor you guys, just email me. I can give you a shout out. But
sure. I'm always interested in porn samples. So
yeah, there you go. The Grizzly for $10. Don't forget the most important part of Star Trek that's always been there since the days of Roddenberry. The Trump man is bad. God, the show seems embarrassing. Thank God I'm not buying CBS Stream. It is CBS Stream. The thing that's been part of Star Trek from the beginning is they've always reflected society, but they've always done it in a more thoughtful way, in a way where actually the Federation was treating a lot of these civilizations like they were children because they were hundreds of years ahead of them. And it was always done. It wasn't done with malice because the Federation was always so advanced that they had evolved so far past this stuff that nobody took offense to anything, or when they saw a wrong, they would right it, but they wouldn't, Kirk wouldn't choose a side all the time. Not every situation, but it just, right now it's partisan and it's basic and it's not done with any kind of thoughtfulness or empathy. It's done with the side we're coming from is right, and you are evil bastards. That's basically how they're coming at things.
Right. I mean, in the original Star Trek, there were times when even Kirk learned a lesson. I mean, it was not always from a place of supreme moral, supremacy or superiority, like in Errand of Mercy with the Organians and the Klingons, where they were, about to war, and then the Organians basically disarmed them and made it to the two sides could not handle their weapons, could not touch their instruments across the entirety of the Federation, the entirety of the Klingon Empire. And Kirk was furious, saying, we have the right to dictate our own policy. He says, the right to kill billions of people. Is that what you're defending, Captain? And he looks stunned, and he says, well, nobody wants war. There are proper channels. We have legitimate grievances with the Klingons. They have bragged that they, this, and it's like, of course, it's, and if we are not as strong, is this not the blueprint for survival? And he says, in the future, you and the Klingons will become fast friends. Never. But then he's on the bridge at the end, and he's like, Captain, you've been rather quiet since we returned from Organia. He says, I'm embarrassed. We like to think that we're the most advanced civilization in space, and it's unsettling to know that we're wrong. And he's embarrassed that he was as warlike as the Klingons ultimately when it came right down to it. And Spock says, Captain, it took the Organians billions of years to reach the pinnacle of civilization where they are at. And, even the gods did not spring into being overnight. And it was an interesting moral kind of a position to exemplify that the hero was not always perfect. But we don't get that kind of nuance now.
No, my God, you re-describing a Star Trek episode to us was more entertaining than anything I've ever heard from Kurtzman. I could listen to that all night. So, I mean, fuck these people. They suck.
I should just do readings of Star Trek with all the voices.
My God, that's like so much fucking better. And it's a reminder of like how far this thing is gone. Some days I just want to just say fuck them and leave, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm so pissed about Doctor. I'm like as pissed as I was when I found out Jodie was going to be the Doctor. And just a quick reset on that. I was pissed because I knew it was going to be a female Doctor and what would come with it, which is all the woke baggage and everything else. And fuck, it wasn't a good day.
No,
I was expecting to. My day went south on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Picard, a white slave owner of Mexi-Sari Romulans, says big as $1,692. That is what Annie Trekker and a couple other people said too. I mean, they didn't say it like that, but they said they were kind of kept. And it's an interesting perspective. It certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
It would. That probably would bring up conversations, and I doubt the writers of the episode see it that way at all.
Yeah.
Jerry Gord for $5. Kirk was told that the Romulan star was going supernova 120 years before it would happen. The bad reboot writers forgot about it. He was told in the Kelvin one, though, right? He was in the Kelvin universe. So
what, Kirk?
Yeah, because Spock tells him.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
But that's in the Kelvin.
Right. Listen, every bit of Star Trek that we have seen since the end of Nemesis has been Kelvin Trek, other than Enterprise. Since the end of Enterprise, I guess Enterprise ended, later than Nemesis. But once Enterprise was done, like from 2005 on, every bit of Star Trek that we've seen has been licensed by Bad Robot or Secret Hideout and has been in this so-called Prime Trek universe, which is a bastardized bubble for legal and marketing purposes that is not linked to real Star Trek, period. So anything that you've seen with Pine or STD or Kurtzman or any of that shit, it's all phony. It's all phony.
It is. And Cardinal Sen, he says they owe him a life debt, for Christ's sake. And yeah, I'm not saying I agree with that. But it's something to consider. Actually, in the show, I found them to be the Jabon and Laris didn't bother me at all. Actually, other than, British Romulans or Irish Romulans and British Romulans. I don't know how that happened, but whatever.
Arboreal tree-dwelling Romulans with bows and swords.
But I thought, Laris, for being a mature lady, was pretty hot for a mature lady. There you go. Even probably with the ears, though. The ears probably did it for me.
Ears are nice. Pointed ears are nice.
Yeah,
they really are.
Pogs Rebens for $49.99. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Who needs a spaceship? Just send the Romulans a link to a download, a file to a 3D printer, as many briefcase transporters as they want. Justice for
right. Exactly. Just like I said. And yes, justice for Anas. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't
keep track. Was Kurtzman happy about Anas's appeal Do you think Kurtzman was happy? I heard maybe that he wasn't also happy about it.
That, to me, that was the single most interesting thing that came from the leaks, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the most interesting thing. I was very happy about that. I hope he was unhappy about it because, in my opinion, Kurtzman ripped him off. And the only evidence I have is Kurtzman is currently running a Star Trek Picard show that's essentially a ripoff of Logan that they've come out and said publicly. It's also a ripoff of Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, The Expanse, Blade Runner, Blake 7, freaking Farscape. I mean, you can name, I'm sure you guys can name 10 more shows that it's a ripoff of. Terminator 2 Sarah Connor Chronicles, Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles, like just anything with a synth gone bad, ship full of rogues, and they're just throwing it all in. And this was one episode. So much was going on. So you have two cataclysms essentially. You have the Romulan and not, but like two disasters on top of each other. That's too much. It's too much. And then, but the thing that's bothering Picard is Data from Nemesis. And the only thing that's going to look good out of this is Nemesis.
Yes.
Nemesis is going to look great compared to this.
I've always kind of liked Nemesis. I know intellectually that it is lacking and it kind of sucks in a lot of ways. And it's, ripping off Wrath of Khan and all this shit. But on the other hand, I cannot deny that I am entertained. And when it's on cable and I'll come across it like on a movie channel or something, and it's a third of the way through or something, I get sucked into it. I like Tom Hardy's Romulan. I like the weird vampire like Remans. I have a thing for vampire aliens. I like them. So
I like
it's
them
just,
too.
Yeah, just
Totally
I know
underused,
it's dumb and weird, but
No, I like vampires in fantasy and in sci-fi. I think they're excellent as a plot device and kind of underused in some aspects. Miranda Duvall for $5 says, Doomcock and Gary, thank you for the leaks and the reviews you did so quickly. You saved me from watching this garbage Picard show. Rewatching DS9 instead. There you go. There you go.
Oh, yes. I need to do that. I haven't really seen Deep Space Nine since its run. And it is a great show. So I would recommend for sure people, if you haven't rewatched Deep Space Nine in years, give it a shot. It's great. The first couple of seasons are hit or miss, but get into it and then later on it will pay rich dividends.
I'm rewatching TNG, and the first season I don't hate it. I mean, maybe it's because I've watched Star Trek Discovery since then. I'm like, oh, this is so good. But I hated it when I first saw it because I was 17 and I wanted Kirk. So I was like, what's this bald English, dude prancing around? But I got over it and I liked it. I was a big fan of Tasha Yar, so I was pissed when they killed her.
Yeah, she was good. She was good.
Boy,
I tell you what, well, they really gave her a great comeback in yesterday's Enterprise and gave her, a proper death. Jeez, that was God. Every scene in yesterday's Enterprise is gold. Every damn moment, even the first scene in 10 Forward with Guinan and Worf. And Guinan I was kind of bored with Guinan a lot of times. I kind of was bored with her. Although a few scenes, her scene with Worf there, her part in yesterday's Enterprise was, I think, the best Guinan ever was. I really loved her speech with Picard. I think it was in Best of Both Worlds, where he's talking about we may yet prevail, as of course a conceit. And her speech to Riker when she says, if the Borg now know what Jean-Luc Picard knows, then it's time to throw away his playbook. That chair is yours. You just need to sit in it. And when he's agonizing in the ready room, he just want to, he doesn't want to sit in the chair, and then he finally does. I mean, that those were some great Guinan moments.
Yeah.
really good, but a lot of times she was just annoying.
Yeah.
But
And it's
boy,
weird how she just wanted to be on the show, right? And that's how her part
right,
came
yeah,
up, right? She's like, yeah, put me in. And it
right.
became a recurring thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Eddie Murphy was going to be in Star Trek 4. Thank God he wasn't.
He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, they were in talks with him to be in Star. He was going to be like the cytologist or whatever, like a hip urban whale scientist or
Because
something.
that worked so well for Superman 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Eddie Murphy, but I'm glad that didn't happen. 48 Hours, folks, one of the greatest movies ever made. It's Walter Hill, who was a great action director at the time. Nick Nolte, not politically correct at all. It's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Terminus EST for $5 saw what's Fall of Skywalker. Saw FOS. Thank you. Wanted to see the shit show for myself. Rey seeing Luke and Leia's ghosts at the end gotta be a hallucination from Palps living inside her. Yeah, she probably took some spice. She probably dropped some spice when she finally got away from her friends, and she can plot taking over the galaxy now because she's Palpatine.
The spice bends space. The spice expands consciousness.
Oh my God. Dude, that whole David Lynch Dune thing where you can hear their inner monologue.
I know.
It's so weird.
It was weird, and it was so gratuitous.
It was.
I mean, you could a lot of times say, look out, mother, danger. Where you could just see on just his expression on his face. He doesn't need to say that, but Lynch insists on
look out, mother, danger.
The weirding. Yeah,
they talked like this when they were. Yes, it was like PBS. It was so bizarre, but I liked it in a lot of ways.
I'm NPR Paul Atreides and Arrakis Dune Desert Planet. It's just pretty bad.
TC the Mandalorian for £5 says Star Wars didn't fall off a cliff. Forensics found a KK size footprint on its ass. Yes, it's a memory now. I mean, honestly, I had a video halfway done and I didn't finish it. I lost interest. That happens. But right, the Access Media for a couple of weeks there, the only thing they could do was talk about the Phantom Menace. And that Washington Post article from last weekend was that was it. That was like that was so bad that it kind of it was the Phantom Menace's final seal of approval. Where the Phantom Menace goes from here, MCU, the MCU.
Yeah,
the MCU.
Yeah, it is.
It's
MCU.
MCU.
Yes. MC sells seashells by the seashore.
Alex, I'll take the rapists for it. That's therapists. That's therapists.
I'll take swords. That's S words. Shuck it, Trebek. Shuck it long, shuck it hard. I won't pay the bloody fine. It's unjust.
Criminal Imagination for 20 Canadian dollars. I've been thinking about Wolf and Mahler's debate with the TLJ fan who argued Luke is just old. I can use age as an argument too. The kid and Rian Johnson are too young and dumb to recognize how people age mentally. Is that what his argument was? Luke was just old?
He's trying to I mean, but that's no argument.
No, and you said it best there. Criminal Imagination is the one thing us elderly folks have on the youth is we've been there. Okay. We don't know everything, but we've been there, and it's impossible to judge it until you've lived it.
Right.
And there's 70-year-olds out there who think I'm young and full of shit, and that's fine. But yeah, a lot of times I'll just say us 50-year-olds, we're just polite. That's all. We're just polite. We let people black yak, and we go, okay, yeah, all right, you know that. And then you just got to let them walk into the wall once in a while and smack their head, and just let it happen. That's how they learn.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people born, in the last 10 years or whatever, because they don't have any appreciation of the kind of miracle of modern life. The people who used to have to track down hard to find comics or movies, cult movies, rare records or things like that. Don't they, if they've never done that, they don't have any appreciation for the instant gratification that the internet provides. They can't genuinely appreciate just how amazing the world is right now, with all the convenience and the instant gratification, and you can just look on Amazon and stream all sorts of weird exotic movies from the 70s. Grindhouse stuff it's all on Amazon. A lot of it's on Prime,
and you couldn't find. You had to hunt to find that stuff, and you were lucky, and you would go to multiple cons and just strike out. That Hitchhiker album, I looked for that thing for a decade, and then eBay comes along, boom,
right?
It's like
Or what about Neil's high concept album, like from the Young Ones, with Neil like singing "My White Bicycle"? I mean, rare weird shit like that. And like now on Amazon, any album that you want, pretty much you can search for. And because I've got Amazon Music, it's a hell of a great thing. I mean, they get all the new music, and have tons of stuff from the past. I mean, it's like we're kind of like living in Forbidden Planet, a smaller version of Forbidden Planet, where the Krell had engineered this device that could instantaneously grant them their fondest wish, instantaneously through mental commands. But unfortunately, they didn't reckon on the mindless primitives within their own subconscious, that a lot of their instant gratification and wishes that wouldn't even be known by them would be destructive and enraged. And the entire Krell civilization was destroyed in the course of a single night. By what? By some devilish force that never showed itself. I mean, and in a way, the internet and the resources of the internet means that we kind of have that. We can't teleport matter. We can't make things, materialize in a physical way right now, but we sure as hell can. Well, we kind of can, really. I mean, aren't we physically watching the photons of Star Trek or Casablanca, or actually hearing the vibrations in the air physically of Beatles albums and the crazy world of Arthur Brown and things that we're streaming. It's fascinating, and I think in a slower way that this instant gratification is destroying our civilization as surely as it has destroyed the Krell in Forbidden Planet. It's a slower burn, but it's like eroding the patience of people. Instant gratification is stripping people of, I think, a certain amount of grit and a certain amount of stick-to-itness and determination. It used to be being a geek was a lot harder than it is now.
It was. I was looking at this album and I just found a new one that like I hunted forever for this. And I was so happy when I found it. But you got the restaurant album right there with the little
yes.
And then there's this. I'm like, I didn't even see this. What's this? And it's the primary phase. Oh, and it's a double album of this.
Wow.
That's cool, with the new cover. I'm gonna have to get that. Oh,
sweet.
It's a colored disc too. Oh my god.
Ooh, the colored vinyl.
I'm all about the colored vinyl.
Shit, that looks like a 3-disc set.
It is. I think it is.
Yep, 3 LP.
That's cool shit. I love that stuff.
Love it. Yeah. Well, I'm not one of these Luddites that has to have vinyl. I'm sorry. I know they say, well, vinyl has a warmth and everything. And it's like, well, maybe if you've got like a perfect system and you've got a hell of a turntable that's perfectly balanced and you've got everything, vibrations not impacting the turntable itself and everything. Well, maybe, but the science being what it is, even though a digital waveform is jagged when you zoom in enough at 44,100 samples a second. I mean, practically speaking, the ear really cannot discern the difference in warmth between digital signal and an analog signal, in my opinion.
Good pair of headphones. That's about it. But I agree. And most musicians who claim they can hear that, well, most of them have like tinnitus and stuff. So look at the inside of this thing, though. Oh my fucking God. I need to have this. It's got, I'm like, oh shit.
Nice.
Oh, this is beautiful. How did I not know this existed? Oh my God. So
holy shit.
There you go. I'm going to have to use some of my lunch money.
But see, now you just found that on a whim sitting on your ass in your office. You didn't have to go to a flea market. You didn't have to, but I still do. I mean, that is how I find a lot of my physical media. I don't buy it new. I buy it used, and I'm looking through bins and everything else. And I found one day I spent like $60, or I found a treasure trove of DVDs. I mean, stuff like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. I found the Seahawk. I found the Godfather trilogy in a box set for $3.
Oh,
I mean, found Jaws, the original Jaws. I mean, I was just like, oh, this and this. Oh, Superman 2, the Donner cut. Well, here, I got
hell yeah.
That. It was like incredible. And it's like that thrill of that hunt, it's the thrill of the hunt.
What Melissa, Mrs. Nerdrotic, and I plan to do in our retirement is we're going to be in a trailer and we're going to be running around hitting flea markets and stuff for our little shop that we're going to have as an old nerdy couple with our tattoos fading. That's what we want to do. We've already got the trailer. I got that. Melissa got that $1,200 trailer that's sitting in Utah that I haven't picked up yet. And the post YouTube, or maybe I'll still be YouTubing. Who knows? But that's our retirement. That's what we like to do. That's why people don't hang out with us very much. Because when we go someplace, we're like, where's the swap meet? Where's the thrift store?
Oh man, well that's me. Yeah. That's me. What am I? You're like long lost
maybe
brother or something. Because that's me. That's me. So if I go to your shop, are you going to give me like warehouse prices?
Fuck yeah.
Give me a discount.
You're the ruler of Earth. You're going to get a discount. It's cool. I mean,
because I know your finds will be awesome. I'll probably be like, that crate, and that crate. How much?
Right. Luke is just too old. Come on.
What a bunch of shit.
What a shithead. I'm sure Mueller took care of that like he does, and Rags as well.
Oh yeah.
Or Wolf. Either one of them could destroy. Those guys they're sharp. They're freaking sharp. Smart kids.
Definitely.
Smart men. I mean, they're just younger than me. Okay. Counters 074 for $5. Hail Gary and Doomcock. Have you guys seen HBO is attempting to ruin another comic by making it woke? Looks like they are getting DMZ next. DMZ. Well, you could argue that
it was already
kind of woke
a bit,
but DMZ was a good comic. Wasn't my favorite, but HBO will woke the shit. I'm surprised they didn't just go to Black Mask, which is the woke comic publishing firm, and they got Cal Exit. They just get Cal Exit.
Yeah,
I'm sure you could get the IP for that for $5.
I have to recommend, tentatively recommend at this point, an HBO show. It's called The Outsider. It's got Ben Mendelsohn in it, doing his usual job. It's based on a Stephen King novel called The Outsider, and it's really pretty damn good. Now, it may get really wokeified later, but right now, it's really not. They do have, I mean, on paper you could say it's a little bit woke because to help them in their investigation, they recruit this woman of color who is the bestest ever at what she does. However, it's really not woke because they actually make her a genuine character. And the reason that she is the best at what she does is she is kind of fucked up. She's like a savant. She's one of these people that retains vast amounts of information but is incredibly awkward socially and damaged. So I mean, it's really not. I mean, that's how you do it. I mean, if you're going to have a character that is, incredibly talented in some way, you got to explain it, and they do. And it makes sense. So I recommend this show. I think it's and the actress doing the role is quite skilled. So
that always helps.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
That always helps.
She's a good actress.
I'll check it out. Basil, the pumpin' seagull for $2 Canadian says no data, no seagull. No
Excellent.
Data.
There really isn't. Data is only seen in dream sequences, and even then, it's
I think that might have been it.
That might well be it. I think there might be one more coming, but I think that's it. Otherwise, I know they pull him out in a drawer. He's disassembled in a drawer at some point, but other than that,
so yeah,
and it's before when you see him actually even the drawer. So never mind. Yeah,
but no,
and they forget about lore. They forget about lore. They forget about lol.
Lore. I mean, this is part of my video, but this is actually my end stinger. Why'd you only bring back the white people, the old white people? And why didn't you where's Worf and Geordi? Geordi was very important to Data.
Yes.
Last time I checked.
Yes, he was.
I always seem to remember those two together. So where the hell is Geordi LaForge? Why is he not in this? Why is the crew not in this? I would be way more on board. I mean, not much. It's Alex Kurtzman, but like if the crew was involved, like the fact that they're not, and it's just Picard. That was my initial turnoff, folks. I mean, and Doomcock brought it up when you first heard it. You couldn't believe it because you're like, why would he do this? Why would he go back? He's 80. He's got everything he needs. He's Sir Patrick Stewart. Why would you go back and do this? I think he just, I think Patrick Stewart probably isn't the best judge of things right now, talent-wise, and just said, fuck it, I'm 80. I'm going to do what I want. And if I screw up the character, whatever. I hate that. I really do.
It's disgusting.
Big O's 169 for $2 says egotastic fun time got hypnotized. Ask him why. I like egotastic fun time. He's really nice.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with egotastic fun time, but I question that. I mean, I question anyone that likes this episode of Picard. And I understand Robert Meyer Burnett liked it. Well, he said that it was okay sci-fi, but it wasn't Star Trek. And I'm like,
it's not Star Trek.
It's not okay sci-fi either. I mean, it's just crap.
It's to me, I mean, we differ on this. To me, it's better than anything Star Trek Discovery's put out, but I mean, it's not anything I would recommend to anybody. I think I said in my live stream, if you're the most hardcore of Star Trek fan and you just want to see Captain Picard saying words, sure, but get your free trial. By the way, at the time, there was a free trial with a 15% discount on top. I don't know if that's changed or not. Because CBS All Access has nothing else to offer, but I did catch one thing in one of my videos, Doomcock. They said, they being CBS said, that Star Trek Discovery was their most watched original show on their streaming service.
How sad for them.
Not the most watched show, the most watched original show.
Uh-huh.
And
wow.
Oh, that's very interesting wording right there. And I didn't catch it the first time around. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So what, more people are watching MASH? Probably.
More people are watching old episodes of Perry Mason.
Yeah, I would.
Hawaii Five-0 with McGarrett. Jack Lord.
The good Hawaii Five-0.
Right, the real one with one of the greatest TV theme songs of all time ever.
I learned how to play that. I did. I loved that theme. Yes. That and the SWAT theme. Pooh. I love that fucking theme. My parents used to let me stay up to listen to the theme, and then I had to go to bed when the show started because it came on at 10. Okay, that was it.
That is a good theme, but I mean, nothing's like as good as da 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 da.
Oh, it's the Venture Brothers, right? Didn't they originally do it? So
Venture Brothers is awesome.
Or not Venture, but
I mean, I differ. I beg to differ on that Picard is at all good. For example, the entire show collapses. The entire show collapses when you consider that they are beaming in all these Romulans to go ahead and kill Dodge or capture Dodge, right? And they keep beaming them in. They keep getting killed, beaming them in, getting them killed. All they had to do was just beam her out.
They couldn't, for one, you're right. For one, why were they putting a bag over her head in the 23rd century?
They put a bag over, they said, oh, she's not activated. Quick, knock her out.
Don't they have stun on her head? Last time I checked, they could stun with phasers.
Yes.
And then when they are shooting at her, it's laughable at the end. There's one shot where I actually got the freeze frame where it hit her, but it didn't hit her. It's so dumb. Oh my God.
And why are they throwing knives? Why are they going to leave bodies? Why don't they just disintegrate them if they want to? Phasers will utterly disintegrate you.
Why are they listening to R&B music in the 23rd century? I mean, have they not come up with some other? I mean, that's like kids listening to Bach on a date. I mean, maybe, but no. It was just, I don't know.
It's terrible. So all these, they could have just beamed her out and beamed her into a cell, or beamed her out into space, beamed her under the ocean, or just never rematerialize her again. Just beam her out and never beam her back in.
You had to read a comic book called Countdown. Did you know that the final issue got delayed? So it's coming out after Picard premieres. So your required reading for this show didn't come out on time.
Oh, those dumb shits. It's just pathetic.
Egotastic Fun Time is a fun channel. He loves the Orville. Go check him out.
Yeah.
The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews, £5. The original Juliet from Romeo and Juliet was played by a man in Shakespearean times. That is true. That is a fact.
All the women's parts were played by men.
It was largely believed because they were all gay back then. No, I don't know. Because
I think it had to do with just the laws at the time, or the traditions. Women were not allowed to play the roles for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I am for women playing acting. By the way,
absolutely,
very much for it. Man, I love waking to those two voices, says KBDN for 40 rubles. Why, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
The Criminal Imagination for 10 Canadian dollars continued. Is that continued from one up here? Okay. Okay. Continued. I read that one. So let's get back to Criminal Imagination. We are going to have an official stop time tonight, folks, because I have to be up early.
Yes.
To get Junior to school and get Mrs. Neurotic and stuff. I have a super chat square up from like 2 shows. I'm going to do like a Mahler like super chat square up. It's going to be about 6 hours long.
Yeah, so I have the same thing, and I apologize, folks. I will get that out in the next couple of days. I am sincerely apologetic to you guys.
Same here.
It'll happen.
I couldn't get it out today because of Doctor Who. I've got to finish this video. Then that is next, and then it's goddamn Witcher finally.
I haven't done a review of I mean, is there any point at this juncture?
I just doing it because I want to. Right now
Yeah.
with the algorithm being all funky, it's kind of freeing, and I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. I think the way my whole philosophy is I'm going to put out content just to get the ball rolling again anyway. I want to do a Witcher review, and we'll see how it does. We'll see how it does. I don't
I
care.
really like it. I like this show.
I
mean,
I freaking love it. So,
although after I play the game, I may feel differently because I understand that the series takes some real liberties with
it does.
You know,
that
with
I
the
know
original
of.
that I've heard. So I'll judge for myself. I'm being sent the game, so I will play it.
That's cool. My kids had it on Steam. I haven't played it yet. I've got it fired up and ready to go. But apparently they've been playing it for a while and they love it. Criminal, imagine, but you know what? I'm going to end up playing the game and find all the brothels and stuff, and then I'm going to have a conversation with Neurotic Jr. going, "What are you doing, dude? Like, you better be just glad mom didn't find out." Criminal Imagination for Canadian $10 continued. There are so many factors that would be there are so many factors that would be a man age bitter and lonely, none of which would apply to Luke. It's not like society passed him by. There are many to choose from. Luke being bitter and disillusioned from one bad dream is stupid. That's the thing, is it? I don't buy it. It's out of character. And even Mark Hamill said it's Jake Skywalker. I mean, it's the dumbest concept ever. It was just done purely to degrade the white male lead so they could elevate Leia and Rey. And it was a despicable way to do it. There's other ways to do it. You could have Luke be heroic and die, but they did not want to do that. The decision was, we need to degrade Luke. We need to undermine Luke. We need to make Luke look bad so we can make Leia and Rey look good.
That is exactly it. That is it. That is what they do. They are tearing down our icons and our civilization to make their diminutive stories and heroes seem taller in comparison to the rubble. That's what it is.
Yep. Wes Moody webcast for $2. STB killed the black guy in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, they did. Wes Moody, and then they didn't bring back any of the ones from the Next Generation either. Kurtzman. Dixon Cider for $5 says, people saying this was good. This was a good episode is like getting a child care award from that guy who owned that island, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's already demonetized. Yes. I'm not, people want good Star Trek. I'm not going to judge them harshly. I don't hate the episode as much as I hate anything from Star Trek Discovery, but it's one episode. I'm taking it one episode at a time. I want to judge this entire series because you know what? I don't know. It could turn out good. I don't fucking know. They could undo all of this and just and make canon. Q could show up at the end, which I suspect is going to happen. But no, this is Kurtzman. I'm pretty confident that it will go downhill. It will go to, and I'm pretty confident that they will join us in our disdain. Just like with Game of Thrones, it's after the third episode, there was a lot of people who weren't with us who were going, no, it's still good. And it was like 2 episodes later when everybody else came along. So, and that's okay. And you know what? Maybe they won't come along. Maybe they'll like the whole series. That's the way it goes. I don't necessarily like what's popular all the time. And I know you don't either. And that's part of it that kind of sucks, but whatever. I like what I like. And I don't like, and I want it to be good. I wish it, but it can't be in the hands of Alex Kurtzman. I don't know how many times we got to say that. I don't know how long it's going to take. CBS has now wasted a bunch of money, basically. They're not going to get the subs they want to get. And so they basically bet the farm on getting a little bump for their streaming service and destroyed any chance of getting any kind of traction for their streaming service in the future.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're quite correct on that.
If the Section 31 show was if they were so hot to do it, they would be doing it right now.
No, come on. The
Yep.
Section 31 show is as mythical as a unicorn.
Yep.
It's bullshit. It's always been bullshit. It's not going to happen. Mark my words. They're not going to double down and triple down, quadruple down on Kurtzman Trek anymore. This shit has not succeeded. I don't know the editor guy you spoke to. I don't know by what metric he would be evaluating success.
Casual fan. I would say casual fan. He just works in the industry.
Right.
Not a hardcore Trekkie. So I'd say a casual. I wouldn't call him a normie because he works in Hollywood and he's a professional editor and he's worked on like big stuff. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times when you're creative in the industry, you're not like a fan of stuff too. You know, you're a creative. That's why it's best, you know, creatives as critics. I mean, you can go out there and be as honest as you want. When I guess we're critics, I'm not attached to anything. I mean, as hard as it would be to criticize the Orville, if the Orville goes woke, I will tell you immediately. Sorry, but I will. I wouldn't betray anything that has been told to me in confidence. If they go woke, that's not anything I'll do. But I mean, the most important thing is I'll just tell you how I see it.
Right.
I think it's too compromised when you're a creative in Hollywood because you know these people. They're your friends. You're seeing them at lunch. I understand. They are not as free, and they say it to me. They've said it to me. I am more free to say things than they are for obvious reasons.
Right.
And sometimes I think that sucks for them because they'd love to be free to say things. That's why it's great. That's why I don't want to be connected to anything. So I can stay that free.
Yes, I agree. I don't want to ever sell out. Yep. You know, and I never would. I mean, I always will tell the truth about these things. Hell, I even told the truth about that Wokeman episode that I actually liked.
Yep.
That one with Party Balloon. That was it. Never saw Party Balloon again, really. It just kind of, you know, that was it.
He just disappeared.
More or less. I mean,
a whole episode about him and he's just poof, gone.
Yeah, it was like really great, and it was firing on all thrusters, and then boom. Okay, and then he gets stuck at the end a little bit, but that's it.
Destiny Captain for $1.99. Was there a square up for the last week's Inquisition? There was not, or
no. That's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. I apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and pound that out. I just a lot, very, very busy last week. It just got to me, but I will get on it this week. No problem.
I have to do one too. If you guys are ever looking for our square ups, it will be on the Harvey channel or Nerdrotic Live. Like they will be up there for sure. And we both record them. Now I record so they get their ample time and we can answer the questions and get through them and give them the time they deserve. I apologize. I would go 5 hours tonight, but I can't. I really can't. Actually, we'll do 3 more and then I gotta go.
Okay.
Wes Moody webcast for $5. Mars' atmosphere is carbon dioxide, which is a fire suppressant. These guys are dummies. I thought Mars's atmosphere is extremely thin. I mean, I guess it could catch on fire a little bit, but yeah, these guys are dummies. Wes Moody,
yes,
podcasts. When I can point stuff out, they are most definitely dummies. And I mentioned that in my video. It's like I am not a genius. I am not a Trek genius, and but I've read enough to know what's wrong and right, and just the basic shit. I'm not catching I'm sure others will catch the major continuity errors where you can draw back on the original series and remember from the 3rd episode in season 3 and stuff. I can kind of do that with Doctor Who, but I can't do that with Star Trek. No. I can most definitely do it with Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings now.
How many times you read the books?
Ooh, 7 times each.
Right. That is something. That is
my
really
5th
something.
of Lord of the Rings right now. I'm just really into that book. God damn.
This is like me with Star Trek. I mean, I've watched every episode. I don't know how many, I mean, original Star Trek, God only knows. Each episode like 50 times, something like that. I don't know. Next Generation, many, many, many times. I don't know.
It's your happy place. It's
Yeah.
your happy place. And that's what Star Trek is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this hard grinding thing. We're making Star Trek to create conversations. No, Star Trek created conversations and you were still hopeful. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Kurtzman is incapable of doing that. He can't do anything inspiring.
No.
It's not in his DNA to do that. Red Letter Media has accepted the blame for the ideas that have ruined all of recent Star Trek shows. The Art of the Real for $10. I don't know how much influence I mean, like, they're good. I like those guys. Those are grand old YouTubers. I could definitely say they might have had some Star Wars influence, but Star Trek, no, they suck all on their own, I think, in my opinion. I don't know. I haven't heard all of their Star Trek ideas, but they have the best example of for a normie. There's a video that shows how bad the writing is in Star Trek Discovery. They do a little skit, basically. They do the same shit in Picard. And yeah, if you guys think we're just hating on it, I guarantee you, I haven't seen their review. I guarantee you they don't like it. I guarantee you they don't like it. I remember setting the VCR to record the best of both worlds and the Pirate Planet. Now you couldn't pay me to watch. Enjoying Maker's Mark and steak and eggs burritos. And if I was to make an Inquisition dish, what would you want? Says Chef Koji for $20.
Wow.
An Inquisition dish. That is something to think about.
Boy. Well. I like I like meat.
Yep.
Maybe some kind of surf and turf kind of thing. Kind of get the best of both worlds. Shoot, man. Any thoughts?
I'm so basic, like that steak and eggs burrito right there. That's that. Now you're talking my language right there.
I know it
asada
sounds
burrito.
good. I like tacos.
Yeah.
You know, some kind of cool taco. Tacos are infinitely, great in terms of their variety. I like Torchy's tacos here in Texas. Great tacos. Torchy's tacos. Really good.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. I was born and raised on Mexican food, and I love
it.
I'm sure you were too, in the center of the earth. That's down south.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dinosaur steaks are very good.
I bet you they are. Not gamey at all?
No. Well, if they're fresh.
Okay. Yeah.
As long as they're fresh.
Thomas Conservative for $5. There was a good female doctor in the old series. They didn't have to do this. No, they didn't have to do any of this. This was unnecessary. If they had the female doctor already, if they just presented, I said this earlier, you didn't see any of the great Doctor Who writers lining up to write for this great moment of the first female doctor. You didn't see Neil Gaiman, RTD coming back, any of the classic ones, when they were still alive. You didn't see them running back to do that because they knew it was a gimmick. And
they weren't interested in putting that first footprint on that particular lunar surface.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
Not really.
Not my Star Trek. Justice for Anas, says Michael Smith. The Orville is my Star Trek now. It is, and they were kind enough to give me a season 3 beanie, which I wear with pride throughout my entire Star Trek review, with my Justice for Anas shirt on, and hopefully that trolls them plenty hard. And we're gonna end it right there. I'm sorry, we have to go early tonight, but yeah, it's a school night, so I've got to make sure Junior's in bed and do my dad stuff. My super chat square up will be hopefully tomorrow afternoon, if not Tuesday morning. It's going to be long. I've got a lot of questions.
Right. Yeah.
And I got a Star Trek Picard review video coming out tomorrow morning. Please I know it's late, so give it a watch, and hopefully the algorithm's a little kinder to it. If it's not,
I will look forward to seeing it.
Well, thanks. And then when I put it, when I'm done, I can watch everybody else's. That's what
Right.
I've been kind of waiting for. So I can't
We'll
wait to
start
watch.
with mine. Just to know.
I always do. I always do. You are always first on the list for everything with me. So I get all your notifications. I do. I get
Well, that's
everything.
good.
So
I get yours too, just so you know.
oh, good. Oh, good. US Dutch Kitty told me she wasn't seeing recommendations and she wasn't. So if you guys do notice that, if you could message us and let us know, there definitely is something going on right now. It's not killing us or anything. We'll survive, but it's never fun, especially when you don't know why, but
Right.
that's life. That's life. Doomcock, plug your channel and your Patreon and all that wonderful stuff you do.
My channel is Overlord DVD, youtube.com/Overlord DVD. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Doomcock, and subscribestar.com/Doomcock as well. I got my first Russian Legionnaire the other day.
Oh,
Actually
cool.
lives outside of Moscow. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
Russia. That's amazing. Yeah, so we've got a great community. I'm posting DVD commentaries on every single original Star Trek episode, full length DVD commentaries running through the episode. And I just did Mud's Women. So there's a bunch of those, and it's awesome. So come and check it out.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
I'm
You'd
a
like 'em.
Legionnaire, so there you go.
Yeah, you should go over there. You could listen. You might like it. I got DVD commentaries on Blade Runner, on Forbidden Planet, Last Jedi. I did a full length one on Last Jedi. Shit, did you ever hear my full length drunken commentaries on the last episodes of Star Trek Discovery season 1?
No.
Oh yeah, actually, like running it live and my first time seeing it, and I was drinking. So by the third one, because I did like 3 episodes in a row, dude. I watched 3 in a row, and I got progressively drunker as I watched. It was pretty bad.
I was gonna pull up Sindek made some art for us. I want to pull up towards the end. I tweeted it out, and it was the Pillars of Argonath. And he also did a banner. And Sindek, I'm going to use that banner. I think probably on my Facebook now. What the hell is Jesus Christ? Oh, there's a dude under there.
What?
This is why I shouldn't go to Twitter. Okay, here I'm going to have to share it now. I don't want to talk and not share what I'm talking about. That's not nice. Okay, so you see this guy.
Oh,
so the hat opens up. Candace shared it. What the fuck?
That's a dude.
That's Billy Porter. Yeah. Okay.
Who's Billy Porter?
He's famous. What is she? He's a famous Hollywood person. He's musical and theater, we'll say, which is fine. But there he is. Yeah.
Okay. Aerosmith has never been more prophetic.
There's some good shit right there. Some Peter Davidson.
There we go.
What does Bulls Trek say? Who cares about canon? Hey, Chibs, you fucking idiot. Yeah, Bulls Trek was mad.
Yeah, you know what? I think we should start calling him. We should start calling him Cribnal.
Ooh, I like that.
Chris Cribnal, because he's cribbing all the greatness of the past. Oh, looky there. Looky there.
That is the shit. So Sindek, that is Syndek.com, CSYNDEK.com. He did that for us. He also did a banner for me. I'm going to use that. That was awesome, dude. So
that is gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm
very proud to be guarding the gates side by side.
The Pillars of Argonath together.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we're going to end it there. Please check out Nerdrotic Live. That's what. Oh, you have an alternate channel.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, yeah. All of the live streams, and I need to put. I've run behind. I need to put them up, but you'll find all the live streams that I do and old episodes of the Inquisition on the Harvey Zone. So that's youtube.com/the Harvey Zone. Please subscribe to that so you won't miss out on those. And Exozone
Excellent.
also will be living there as well.
Yes.
And Exozone returns this Thursday, just to remind people. We've got guests, genuine guests, real ufologists, talking about cattle mutilations, the Rendlesham Forest incident, and more. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So I've got one of my little nerdrotics. Well, they're not so little. Working on a playlist for me, so you'll be able to find playlists on my channel that have all of our Inquisitions in one place and all of our Exozones in one place.
Nice.
So you'll be able to search those out. They'll be available on the website. They should be ready by February 1st. So Nerdrotic Live is where all the live streams go for everything. They're usually up within a day. Sometimes it's 2. Or sometimes it's 5. So I try. And check out Nerdrotic Live, please, and please subscribe to the channel. Please like and share the videos. We thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next. We'll see you in the next Inquisition, which will be on Doomcock's channel. So remember, not all who wander are. I got to hit the right one. Not all who wander are lost. Bye, everybody.